It is an historic day for Trinity University. A new president inaugurated this morning live from Laurie Auditorium. And for the Trinity Tigers on the diamond, they certainly hope a new chapter begins today as well. They did not score a run last night against Birmingham-Southern. Pitcher Joey White dominating for the Panthers. But game 2 of the series promises to be a good one. We've got a great pitching matchup, and we'll see what it brings. I'm Brian Yanselson, joined by Cole Isaacson once again, ready to see these two teams do battle once more.
Absolutely, Brian. Hoping that Trinity can get the offense going. No hits through 6 innings last night. If that's going to happen again, it's going to be really hard for them to win, as we saw last night, so they're really going to have to get the bats feeling it.
We warned you. We talked about the powerful offenses right from the start, both teams averaging nearly 10 runs a game. So, of course, what do we get? A pitcher's duel. Joseph Shavana, Joey White going back and forth. The Panthers able to sneak by with a bases-loaded balk, a sacrifice fly, and then a pass ball to score their 3 runs. But we are certain with the wind blowing today, you might get a glimpse of it already as you see the jerseys blowing for the Tigers as they stand for the anthem. The flags there in center field at the end of your screen blowing towards right field, so we'll keep an eye on it and bring you all the exciting action. And we'll start by bringing you the Birmingham-Southern Panthers, a lineup that looks very similar to that of the one last night. At second base, Andrew Dutton leading off. In center field, Cam McNerney. The designated hitter, Ian Hancock, batting third. The cleanup hitter, Noah Best, at shortstop, followed by the catcher, Jack Fleming. Jacob Zito will return to left field. And then here's where we have some new guys in the lineup. First base, Jackson Webster. Eli Stedman making the start in right field. And once again, it'll be Will Lantis batting 9th at third base for this afternoon. And these 9 Panthers will have the task of facing Jack Martinez on the mound. As we get a look at the Tigers lineup, who you'll see in the bottom half of the first. Jack Baker getting the start at third. Ezra Gore shifting over to left field. The catcher, Nicholas Lazera, back behind the dish. Austin Davison getting the go-at-it at first. Designated hitter Brandon Nelson hitting 5th. Trey Verver 6th in right field. Shortstop Michael Montreza down at 7th. Jack Peterson back in center. And once again at second base is Colt Harris. So those will be the 18 doing battle today.
Yeah, really excited to see this lineup shaking up. Fewer lefties in the lineup. They went pretty lefty-heavy last night going against the righty Joey White. Choosing to shake things up again. I don't think it's because of the result of last night and the limited offense. I think it's just because this team has a lot of talent throughout, and coach wants to get it all out there.
Not only a lot of talent, but a lot of question marks that have to be answered. These Tigers are without 5 everyday starters from a year ago, the likes of Jack Vonderhaar, Jack Wisniewski, MJ Metz, Brian Schaub, and Nathan Brolick. And you saw their absences felt yesterday with no runs on the board. But on the pitching mound, there are questions that are being answered in the right way after Shavana went last night, and now Jack Martinez getting the first pitch delivered just a little bit low for ball 1, officially underway in San Antonio, Texas. Andrew Dutton steps in from the left side. Looks at a strike on the outside corner. Came around to score twice and was in the heart of all the action for the Panthers, as he so often is. When he got on, he came across to score both times. 2 of the 3 runs, Cole, the leadoff hitter. That's exactly what you want from him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Birmingham-Southern lineup, oozing with talent throughout, but able to get the leadoff hitter to get some of that production, and that's where it's all going to start from with these guys.
Low and inside to Dutton here. Jack Martinez, the sophomore from Corpus Christi, Texas. And we promise you, it is not Martinez, it is Martinez. His family has French heritage in their blood, and so coming from Louisiana, it is Martinez. We got familiar with him a year ago as he really burst out onto the scene. Went 4-1 with a 6.66 ERA, but that ERA very misleading as he walks Dutton here on 5 pitches. Not the way he wants to start, but he had a really great start to the year. Once he got some action, made a quick impression. Dave Smith, Tim Scannell trusting him with starts. It was really the end of the year towards the playoff appearances that he did get that he gave up a lot of runs to inflate that ERA, but earning the trust to now be out there on opening weekend.
Absolutely. He was really excited about it. And the one thing he said he wanted Tiger fans to know about him, this is a guy you are going to see a lot of.
You got to love the confidence that he oozes. Going back to last year, talked about how pressure is a privilege. He loves being out there in the big moments. And getting to face the number 4 team in the nation certainly qualifies as a big moment. Keeping an eye on Dutton over there. We saw many, many pickoff moves yesterday from the Tiger pitchers.
Absolutely. This Birmingham-Southern speed, definitely something to keep an eye on. We talked about it a lot last night, number 3 in the nations in steals. We didn't see it too much last night in particular, but I think that means we might just be due.
Back throw, checking on Dutton is Lazera. McNearney showing bunt on that pitch, pulling it back as it was a ball. So he is ahead of the count 2-0. 0-0 the score, just getting going here in San Antonio. Really excited to have all of you with us. We've got a stoppage right here looking into the Trinity dugout. Umpire explaining something to head coach Tim Scannell.
Yeah, not too sure what the confusion is here. It's Tim obviously doesn't like something that's happening.
Perhaps thinking that on the bunt attempt he did go around, that should have been a strike called.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it was based on the hand motions he was given.
But as of right now, umpire still signaling 2-0 the count for Cam McNearney, the senior from Marietta. Make that the senior from Kennesaw, Georgia. His teammate Will Lantis from Marietta, Georgia. Lots of Georgia and Alabama all across this roster. Martinez getting ready, gets contact to the right side. Windy day, sending it back to the warning track, but it's made by Trey Verver. Excellent job by the sophomore, ranging over in a tough condition for out number 1.
Yeah, great play by Trey Verver. He's got 2 obstacles kind of on either side of him. You got the bullpen fence, and then you got the back wall that he has to keep an eye on. Able to lock in on that baseball, though, and make the play.
Did end up catching it in foul territory, but it gives Martinez a little confidence to get 1 out, and now a first pitch swing heads foul. Nice grab by the first base coach there for BSC. We've got Ian Hancock at the plate. Someone Coach Jan Weisberg says doesn't always have the picture perfect swing, but he has such great leverage, is a great competitor, and it allows him to have a swing that is among the most dangerous across college baseball.
Yeah, he was a first all-team. He was a first-team All-American, according to Baseball Coaches Association. He had 16 home runs last season. It was 10th in Division III baseball. This guy, definitely one of the most dangerous parts of already a completely dangerous Birmingham-Southern lineup.
Runner going, Lazera trying to get it off the turf, won't be in time. Quick awareness by Dutton to see that one in the turf and head to second base.
Yeah, these guys are already pretty inclined to steal anyways. Said it last night, every player on this roster has a green light for Birmingham. And once they see one in the dirt, they're not going to hesitate to go.
So Ian Hancock will get the chance to drive home a run. He went 1 for 4 last night. Looks at it, up and away. Showed a little bit of his tremendous power, just a little flick of the wrist that nearly sent it out of here to right field. It was tracked down by a nice play in the outfield. But on this windy day, gotta watch out for number 15. Awaiting the pitch here from Martinez. Another ball outside, and Martinez dealing with some command issues in this first inning. No doubt some jitters on opening day weekend. And he'll have a full count on Hancock.
Yeah, definitely some jitters, but we talked with him. He has the confidence to get out of this.
Lazera setting up down and away. Gets it there, but it's outside. A good take by Hancock. And the Panthers have runners on first and second with 1 out in a scoreless game, top of the first.
Yeah, not the worst idea, kind of a borderline pitch. And Dave Smith's going to come out and talk to him, but kind of a borderline pitch, really likes that changeup. And I think that's what that was based off of where it ended up. He really likes to throw that there, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world to lose Hancock. He has 16 home runs on the season last year. You don't want to give him a chance to hit one out again, and you had the base open. So minimal damage done and still an opportunity to get out of the inning.
Martinez telling us this week ahead of his start that it feels really good to know he is starting on opening weekend versus last year did not get any action in the first 2 weekends of play. It was really that Tuesday game against DeSales that he began to shine, and he came in with the bases loaded, 2 outs, and got a strikeout in his very first appearance, and that gave him all the confidence in the world to now be a starter on the first Saturday of the year.
Absolutely, really impressed. It was kind of similar to what we saw from a few of the bullpen guys last week, yesterday, especially Clayton Jackson, getting out of his jam. But anytime you can come in a tough situation like that as a pitcher, it gives the coaching staff a lot of confidence.
His first pitch after the mound visit, a breaking ball in the dirt. Lazera able to block it. Runners not going anywhere, but Noah Best ahead in the count, 1-0. Trying to go inside, misses again. And the cleanup hitter in command, 2-0 of this count. 1 for 4 last night, 2 strikeouts for the shortstop who was busy out there on defense. Martinez checking on Dutton there at second. Now pitch on the way, a nice changeup to get Best swinging. 2-1 the count now.
Yeah, he wasn't getting that call on that inside edge. Those are some pretty borderline close pitches. They probably were inside, but wasn't getting that call, so I was wondering if he was going to change the location on that pitch, and that's exactly what he did.
Change location and change velocities with the changeup. Will he go right back to it? Lazera setting up inside. 2 inside there, as Best not biting. And the power hitting shortstop who hit 14 home runs a year ago, one of the top run producers in the country, has 2 out there waiting for him. Martinez ready and deals. Little check swing, foul ball to take the count full.
Yeah, a lot of full counts in this inning. You don't want that pitch count to get too high, but Martinez is battling, trying to work through it.
Runners on first and second. 1 away in the top of the first, just getting going. Martinez trying to escape trouble, going inside, not going to swing is Best. A walk to load the bases, and the Panthers threatening early in San Antonio.
Yeah, not the start you wanted out of Jack Martinez, but we've highlighted his ability to get out of these jams in the past. We'll see if he can do it here.
What we're seeing right now, a Panthers lineup that is not being forced to hit. They've had Dutton walk, they've had Hancock walk, and now they have Best on with a walk. Still, with the bases loaded, 1 out, a ground ball can get Martinez out of the inning, but he has to deal with Jack Fleming. The catcher fouls the first pitch back.
It's pretty important to get ahead in that situation after walking 3 straight guys like that. Getting the 0-1, controlling the at-bat. I think that's exactly where Martinez wants to be.
The 0-1 on the way to Fleming. A changeup gets the outside corner. 0-2 the count now to Fleming, who was indirectly involved in every single run last night. He did drive in 1 with a sacrifice fly. He was also at the plate when the balk happened, and he was also at the plate when the pass ball occurred. And so when you see Fleming, you think action, and certainly an action pitch here. 0-2 from Martinez, dots it on the inside corner, strike 3 called. Fleming takes a walk back to the dugout as Martinez gets a big K there for the second out.
That's interesting that he didn't swing on that one, 0-2. That's definitely a situation where you're usually going to hack at it, maybe worried about the possibility of grounding one and a double play to end the inning. But either way, a great strikeout for Jack Martinez, an important one to try and get out of this one.
Now it is all up to Jacob Zito, the junior from Longboat Key, Florida. First pitch to him, a strike up in the zone. Zito went 1 for 4 last night, trying to make himself known in this Panther lineup as a transfer. That one misses outside, evened up at 1-1. Transferred from Central Alabama Community College. In a team full of experience. They get a fresh face in the outfield in the form of Zito. Awaits the 1-1 here. Slider misses outside. Make it 2-1 now in favor of Zito after that first pitch strike. All three base runners on with a walk.
We know Jack Martinez loves the changeup in this situation. Wonder if we're going to get it here. 1 out to get out of this jam.
Goes with a firm fastball, fouled the other way, and it'll be a 2-2 count. Bases loaded. Panthers an opportunity to strike first. Tigers, meanwhile, looking to get out of it and back to the plate. Martinez taking a stroll behind the mound. Deep breath for him. It's just the first inning, but you sense it's a big swing either way. Lazera giving the signs, putting the fingers down, now setting up inside. Can Martinez hit his catcher's glove? Going for it, misses away, but gets strike 3 called. Swinging. What a moment for Martinez in the first inning. And the Panthers go back to the dugout with nothing to show for a bases-loaded opportunity.
That was absolutely huge getting out of the jam. It's only the first inning, but you could sense that was going to be a huge moment in the game, whether Birmingham could cash in or not. Not able to do it, and this game's going to stay at 0.
And you love it for Martinez. There was a man warming in the bullpen early on. You can sense that if it kept getting away from him, it might be the end of the day, but he got it in control and gets the Tigers to the plate with a fresh start. 0-0 as we head to the bottom of the first in San Antonio. Jack Martinez, a couple of strikeouts to escape a bases-loaded jam. And now his counterpart, Josh Learson, will take the mound for the Birmingham-Southern Panthers, a junior from Sandy Springs, Georgia. Went 4-1 a year ago, had an ERA of 7.04. But talking to Coach Weisberg, very misleading ERA like many of the ones we've talked about, as the first pitch to Jack Baker in the dirt for ball 1. He had a batting average against of .217, so opponents really struggled to get barrels on the ball. But it was the walks that really killed Josh Learson, 50 of them in just over 50 innings. And it led to a lot of big innings, a lot of explosive moments that inflated that ERA to over 7.
Absolutely, and you're seeing here Jack Baker already taking the first 2 pitches. But he doesn't give up hits, and that's just such a valuable asset. I was talking to Coach Scannell about that as Jack takes another one. I was talking to Coach Scannell about that ability, and he says that at this level, the hitters thrive off hits. Like, they don't quite understand the value of a walk as much you would at a higher level, he said. And Jack Baker able to work one right there. So I guess they're understanding the value a little bit today.
Well, they're going to have to be patient and force Learson to beat them in the zone. That has been the big question mark for the junior. He certainly has the most electric stuff on this rotation. As Ezra Gore showing bunt after the 4-pitch walk. pulls it back as that's another ball. So 5 in a row. If we were at Texas A&M, the ball chant would be beginning. Jack Baker, the first of a few changes in the starting lineup for the Trinity Tigers. Gore again showing bunt, pulls it back, now a throw. Baker dives in safely.
Yeah, really important for the Tigers to get that first base runner on. Didn't have one, I think, until, what, the 4th inning when Holloway got on, and even that was a little short-lived. But able to much better start today than it was last night.
The 1-1 to Gore, misses high. So he'll be ahead in the count. Did not show bunt that last time. It was Harris who drew the walk in the 4th inning yesterday. And then it was Holloway who got the very first base hit of the evening for the Tigers. Not until the 8th inning, though. So already more action for the Tigers. Gore swinging at that one, foul.
Wonder getting the 2 strikes. This is an opportunity for Learson to really find himself. Losing Baker there couldn't have been a good feeling with everything that happened last year. Coming into this year wanting to move away from those walks, giving one up on the first at-bat in 4 pitches. Definitely not what he wanted to do, but an opportunity to get the first out here.
Gore grounds it to short. Best on to Dutton, over to first. In time is Gore to beat the throw. The speedy Gore, used to being a linebacker on the football field and a tough guy to double up.
We'll get to see the replay here. Good low pitch there. Nearly gets everybody out with a double play, and it looks like that was just in time for Ezra Gore. Tie goes to the runner, right?
There were several close calls at first, and not wasting any time in his at-bat is Lazera, a line drive to center field. Gore will stick around at second, but a base hit for Lazera has the Tigers threatening in the bottom half of the first.
Already a way better start. We got a hit already, and we got 2 people on base, but Lazera, we know he's one of the best pure hitters on this team. Able to drive this one right up the middle. We've seen him do it so many times. That's his favorite place. It's the one he goes most often. He does it here.
And Lazera getting back to his roots of last year. Whenever he did get opportunities, I'd always say, Nick, don't swing at the first pitch. You're not letting me talk about you, and he does it yet again. The good thing is we're going to see a whole lot more of him this season, so I'm not too concerned. It brings up Austin Davison, the cleanup hitter today. A breaking ball misses low. Austin Davison, another new name in the lineup today, the senior from Park City, Utah. Coming down from the Beehive State to the Lone Star State, and someone many around here think will thrive during his senior season. Fastball low to take the count to 2-0.
Yeah, Austin, a converted catcher, played a lot of first base. We were interested in seeing him do that pretty much in the weeks we were going to practice leading up to this game. And he was doing well. You could see him getting better and better, and you just want to find a way to get that kind of bat in the lineup.
No problem taking that one, as these misses aren't particularly close for Learson. Taking a deep breath, stepping back onto the rubber. It'll be fascinating to see if Davison has a green light on 3-0 or if he lets Learson beat himself. Fastball right down the middle is taken by Davison, so no swing there on 3-0.
Yeah, I think that's the right call. I mean, you kind of know what you're going to get, or you know what he's going to try and do. But at the same time, you don't want to ground out and have the inning be over. So I think that was the right call, taking that one, see if you get the walk.
Still a good hitter's count for Davison, 3-1. Tries to get it inside, not on the corner though. And Davison will toss his protection and bring up Brandon Nelson with the bases loaded. These teams wanting to mirror each other, it seems, both loading the bases in the first inning. But Trinity hoping to make one change, and that is get on the board with a run.
If Trinity can cash in on this, we're all going to look back if they win and say this is the big turning point. Birmingham-Southern had them loaded, couldn't cash in. If the Tigers are able to get 2 or 3 in, this could be a huge point in the game.
And very important to notice here, it's Coach Weisberg, the head coach, making the visit to the mound, not a pitching coach like you traditionally see. And you have to imagine that is the head coach saying, calm down, you've got it all under control, trust yourself. This is a guy Coach Weisberg calls the X factor for the Panthers. If he is in the zone, if he is who he can be, it'll go a long way into making BSC a threat. But right now, the Tigers have him on the ropes. A curveball lands in there for a strike to Nelson.
Yeah, Learson just needs to settle down. He was, I think, pitcher of the year in the prospect league he pitched in. And, you know, he found that form, an ERA below 1 in that league. As that one's fouled off, gets to 0-2. So a good start for him on this at-bat to get that second out and become that pitcher that we saw he can be.
You're exactly right, Cole. He pitched for the Danville Dans, went 5-0 this summer, 48 innings pitched and 67 strikeouts. But more important for him, just 17 walks. Really got his in control. And the 0-2, a good swing by Nelson to stay alive, but pounding the strike zone more ever since that visit from the coach.
Yeah, probably the right thing to do for him, just get that confidence, and that's what you need to do, throw strikes. But at the same time, you can't leave something over the middle for a hitter like Brandon Nelson.
Going high and getting the swing and a miss from Nelson. Nice bounce back for Learson after loading the bases to get the second out of the inning. And it'll be up to Trey Verver, the sophomore from Cedar Park, to try to drive in some runs for the Maroon and White.
Yeah, big opportunity for Trey Verver, not in the lineup yesterday, but Jack Learson 1 out away from getting out of this, and then these teams will have truly mirrored each other, Brian.
Going back upstairs, nobody home. Verver getting ahead 1-0. Made 11 appearances last year, just 2 starts did Verver. Looks at 1 for a strike there to even it up at 1-1. A hitter in Verver always looking to go the other way. From the minute he got to campus, you notice it in his swing. Catcher Fleming setting up inside to try to prevent that, and Verver swings over the top of that one.
It's going to be a really big moment for Josh Learson, able to get out of this. Dug himself a hole, but he's able to keep this at zeros. That'll be a big confidence boost for him.
The fastball has been on point since the visit. Goes in the turf with it. Verver able to lay off to even it up at 2. Jack Baker walked to start the inning as Rigor then hit a fielder's choice. Lazera lined a single and Davison walked. That's how the Tigers loaded the bases. Verver trying to bring him home, but he will not. A swing and a miss for strike 3. And the Panthers and Tigers truly copycats today as they both strand the bases loaded with 2 strikeouts to end each inning. Missed opportunity for both sides there, Cole.
Absolutely. Really mirrored each other, as you said. Copycats, that was a great call, Brian. But that was a real boost for Learson there. And you could see the relief on his face. Just getting out of that. You know, he dug himself the hole, but I think that he'll be able to move forward and have a good game off of that confidence boost.
Whatever Coach Weisberg told him certainly worked out for BSC. After 1 inning of play in San Antonio, Trinity and Birmingham-Southern tied at 0. Top of the second here at Trinity University. Jack Martinez back on the mound facing Jackson Webster, newly inserted into the lineup this afternoon. The sophomore from Chelsea, Alabama, making an appearance on this opening Saturday after just 5 games played a year ago. Called strike, says the home plate umpire there, to fall behind 0-2.
Yeah, Martin has a good start after getting out of that jam in the first inning. We'll see if him and Learson can carry that forward.
Slider makes its way back to the plate, not where Martinez wanted it. Webster unable to do much with it, though. Count stays at 0-2. Always fascinating to see number changes throughout a career. Don't know why Jackson Webster switched from 44 to 23, but he is now number 23. Grounds it to the right side. Colt Harris there. No problem with that one. And the first out of the inning recorded by Martinez.
Yeah, already a better start than that last inning. Just carrying forward what he did at the end of that last inning. Able to get a ground ball there. You know, I'm a big ground ball fan. I think it helps with your pitch count, helps you stay in the game longer. And he just looks a lot more comfortable and confident than he did at the start of the last inning.
First pitch strike delivered to Eli Stedman, the sophomore from Birmingham, Alabama. And if you're a Panther fan, you're very familiar with the last name Stedman. His older brother Cole, an All-American last year, one of the few pieces that the Panthers did lose. But while they lose Cole, they get Eli trying to fill that hole. And he did an excellent job last year in the games that he did play, 27 of them, and hit .317 in his appearances as he swings over the top of that one to fall behind 1-2.
Yeah, Cole Stedman, a really important player for these Panthers last season. One of 2 all-region players not returning for them. They still have talent up and down this lineup, including his brother.
Change up on the outside part, fouled straight back into the bricks.
Yeah, able to get a piece of that one, extend the at-bat, and foul balls are such an important part of the game, especially late in at-bats, just trying to stay alive. It can be pretty frustrating for a pitcher if it keeps happening over and over again.
Lazera outside again. It's a fastball that comes across low for a ball. Martinez got thrown into the fire last year in terms of getting valuable experience in the postseason. The 2-2 up and away here, so the count now full. He pitched a pair of innings against LaGrange in that World Series. Also pitched against Baldwin Wallace in that win for the Tigers to keep them alive in Iowa. There's another 3-2 pitch fouled back. But he really became a staple of this rotation, and even if he wasn't starting, he was making appearances out of the bullpen. And it is no secret that he is someone these coaches have a lot of faith in.
Absolutely, a lot of faith. Put him in a lot of pressure situations, and getting a start opening weekend.
Does miss here low and inside to walk the number 9 hitter. And it'll bring up Will Lantis. And that has been the problem for Martinez thus far. No hits allowed, but it's 4 walks now.
These pitchers are off to very similar starts. A lot of walks to start their innings, but both able to get out of it. Not too much of a jam here for Martinez so far. Still 1 pitch away from getting out of it, but he is going to have to leave one stranded here.
You say 1 pitch away, but if there's someone that is hard to double up in this game and in this country, it is Will Lantis, the speedster. Not the one that is easy to hit unless he hits it right at an infielder. And right now looks at 2 balls to get ahead 2-0.
Yeah, absolutely. That extra time that the shortstop or second baseman, whoever it is going to have to take to make that play, as they're going to check on the runner there. Definitely at a disadvantage when it's a guy like Will Lantis, who went 38 for 38 in steals last year.
And it's no 38 for 38, but as another throw heads over to Stedman, he did steal 2 bases, was never caught. So again, not the volume of 38 for 38, but just one of many, many Panthers that love to steal bags. And he has a healthy lead over there, not going anywhere as the 2-0 fouled away by Lantis. That 38 for 38 mark, 4th in Division III, and it also set a school record for Birmingham-Southern. A very proud baseball program going back to their NAIA days. Even spent some time in Division I before joining Division III. We have more on that later on. But from the get-go, these black and gold Panthers have been a menace on the diamond. And Martinez continues to worry about Stedman over there. He has a 2-1 count on Lantis, but he's made more throws to first and pitches in this at-bat. Runner not going anywhere. The changeup hits the outside corner.
Yeah, borderline pitch, but a big call there for Jack Martinez. Able to get this 2-2.
You can see the confidence he has in his changeup. He calls it his favorite pitch. Will he go to it on 2-2? It misses high. Lazera makes the throw above the glove of Montreza. Peterson able to collect it in center field, but make that 3 stolen bases on the year already for Birmingham-Southern without being caught a single time.
Yeah, throw just a little high. It's tough because you have to make that throw so quickly. Really wants to get him there, but yeah, Birmingham-Southern, they're tough. Everybody on this team is really tough to catch stealing. They're just so good at it.
The 3-2 high inside for a walk, and that is base on balls number 5 for Martinez. As now the lineup will flip back over to the dangerous Dutton.
This is exactly the situation that we talked about with Andrew Dutton last night and with Coach Weisberg. He loves to put him at the top of the lineup because he can drive in those 7, 8, 9 guys.
Exactly. He says those 7, 8, 9 guys any other year for this program would likely be in the middle of the order. But with the depth that they have, they just happen to be 7, 8, 9. And so he wants his leadoff hitter, Dutton, to be able to drive them home. And drive them home he did. 49 RBI last year. Out of all the names that we've mentioned, no one had a higher batting average than Dutton. 396. Imagine that, nearly a 400 hitter. Exactly who you want at the top of your lineup. Takes a strike at the letters here to take the count to 1-1. Adjusts his batting gloves a little bit as Martinez takes a step off the rubber before returning. Already escaped one jam with the bases loaded. Trying to get out of another with a pair on base. Off-speed pitch off the corner. A real back and forth here. First it was Martinez taking time off the rubber. Now it was Dutton taking a step out of the batter's box before coming back in. The 2-1 inside for a strike. He's had success with that inside part of the plate. 2 left-handed hitters.
Yeah, absolutely. Really working that inside part of the plate, as you said. Similar situation the last at-bat. Had it 2-2. It got away from him. I think the steal probably rattled him just a little bit and walked the batter, but we'll see if he can get out of it this time.
Swing slapped over to third base, foul, where a bunch of fans are hanging out over the newly renovated bullpen area. Hitting tunnel that we talked a little bit about yesterday provides good space for fans to come out and enjoy the ball game. We encourage all of you watching on Tiger Network to make it in town if you have the chance. The change is truly magnificent as Martinez is 2-2, another foul ball that way. And I think it's very clear what Dutton is trying to do with these swings, just trying to get it the other way with 2 strikes, not doing too much with it. It's been foul so far, but if he can get it down the line, could cause trouble.
Yeah, I think the danger of hitting it over that way, though, is if it goes to the third baseman, you get that lead runner who's forced to go over there. And even if you don't get the double play, it's the same situation you have right now. But yeah, that's what he wants to do, hit it the other way. It'd be a tough play to make for Jack Baker.
Another foul ball right back to the bricks. Andrew Dutton had 197 at-bats last year, struck out just 26 times. It's a pretty good ratio if you ask me, and you are seeing on full display how hard he is to strike out. He's putting contact to everything.
He's working, has great hands. This is probably a frustrating experience for Martinez right now, but going to do his best to get out of it.
That one's low and inside. Dutton not threatening to swing at all. And the count will be full. Runners on first and second, 1 out. We'll see if the runners are in motion. We've got Stedman at second, Lantis at first. Both of them reaching via the walk. Birmingham-Southern still without a hit, but they've had 5 base runners, and there is going to be the first base hit of the afternoon. Down the line that goes. 1 run comes across the score. The second will hold up at third, but that's an RBI double for Andrew Dutton to put Birmingham-Southern on the board.
Yeah, great at bat, able to foul and foul and foul each pitch off until he gets to that full count and able to work a hit. Interesting, he was trying to go to that third base side pretty consistently, ends up hitting it towards right center, but either way, RBI double. That's exactly what he wanted. It's Birmingham will open the scoring here.
And the threat doesn't end there. It only gets more dangerous with Cam McNearney coming to bat. 2 runners now in scoring position, still just 1 away. And you've got the heart of the order looming in Hancock and Fleming along with Best. Martinez, though, first having to get past McNearney. Ball gets away from Lazera for a moment. But as has been consistently the case so far, falling behind these hitters and putting them in advantageous counts.
Absolutely. Birmingham, similar situation in the first inning. Not able to cash in on that one, though, and able to bring in a run here.
That one gets away from Martinez inside, and the count 2-0 to number 3. That's going to be up the middle, and it's going to get through for a base hit. 1 run scores easily. Here comes a second. The throw has to be cut off as the Panthers out in front now, 3-0.
Yeah, just going to hit it right up the middle. Not a lot of shifting in Division III, so shortstop and second baseman kind of equally separated from that second bag. So big gap right there usually. Splits it right through and able to get the 2 runners in. It's exactly what Birmingham needed to do. It's exactly what that's exactly what they failed to do last night. I mean, they had so many opportunities to break this game wide open last night. Able to hold that deficit to 3. But here, able to bring those guys in and get a 3-0 lead early.
And Martinez not doing himself any favors after the 2 RBI hit. The pickoff gets away from the first baseman, Davison. So McNearney able to stroll on to second. Lazera takes a visit to the mound to calm his pitcher down. It's just a 3-run deficit, but it certainly can get away easily with these big bats of the Birmingham-Southern Panthers.
Yeah, absolutely. Just not a lot going right for him right now. Just needs to settle it down and throw his pitches. He can get out of it. We know he can.
First pitch to Hancock, a changeup down low.
Still work to do for Jack Martinez. Still that man on second. He gave up the 3 runs, so definitely not the inning you hoped for, but so he gets the strike call there. Definitely not the inning you hoped for, but there's still work to do. You have a guy in scoring position. You just got to hold this deficit now. Just keep it here and just keep your team somewhat in this game.
Montreza calling for a pickoff at second. Instead, another ball delivered to Hancock. Martinez reliving some nightmares perhaps that he experienced in Birmingham. Game 2 of that Super Regional. Was not able to record an out. Gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, and a walk. That one misses inside, and the runner takes third. McNearney, an easy steal of third. And now he's 90 feet away from being the 4th Birmingham run. Make it a perfect 4 for 4 on stolen base attempts for the Birmingham-Southern Panthers, already marching well towards their 142 mark from a year ago. One skied here in the air. Peterson lining up in center to make the throw home. He'll gun it in. Runner coming, and the throw will not be anywhere in time. Davison had to cut it off, and that is run number 4 for BSC.
It's exactly the right play from Birmingham. You have the guy at third because of the good base running, and able to just get a sacrifice fly to bring him in. At this point, you're just trying to add on runs where you can. You don't need to get it all at once. Just bring your guys in.
One good sign for Martinez, the bases are now empty, and he can focus on the hitter at hand. Noah Best starts off with a fastball for a strike.
Yeah, and this is a guy who deserves all of your attention. So many of these hitters do, but Noah Best, definitely the best of a great group.
Shows bunt, pulls it back as it's outside. This inning started very well for Martinez. It was a ground out by Webster. Looked like it might be a good bounce back after loading the bases in the first on walks, and then it really unraveled for the sophomore. A walk to Stedman, a walk to Lantis, and it was that Andrew Dutton double that started opening the floodgates. And now a hit batter. Noah Best takes it in the back.
Absolutely, I think unraveled's the perfect word. It looked like he was carrying over some of that confidence, getting the quick out, and then things just started to go a little sideways for him and really hasn't been able to bring it back in.
He said the biggest lesson he learned from a year ago as a first year was that you have to be consistent. You can never let your guard down. Even if you have a good outing and you think things are set, they may not be, because every team, everybody has players who will continue to fight. And unfortunately for Jack Martinez, these Panthers fight too hard today. He will come out of the game with just 2 outs in the second inning, gave up 4 runs, still responsible for that runner over there at first. And we'll take a break on Tiger Network to see who is coming in for the Tigers. Welcome back to Tiger Network. Jack Martinez making an exit early here and paving the way for Cade McGahan out of the bullpen. First pitch from McGahan, a breaking ball outside. Yeah. McGahan, the senior from Davidson, North Carolina. Someone who is getting an opportunity early to prove himself. And he'll have to come in and stop the bleeding a little bit for the Tigers as Birmingham-Southern pushing across 4 runs in this inning alone.
Yeah, Cade McGahan, a guy who can definitely eat up some innings for these guys when your starter goes shorter than you would want him to. You definitely need that bullpen to stretch a little bit. He's a guy who can handle a starter's workload. As doesn't get the call on that pitch. We saw him pitch in the Winter World Series, able to get the start, and he looked really good.
Quite good. We were both very impressed. as was pitching coach Dave Smith. Can't connect on the zone here, and it's 3-0 quickly out of the bullpen. He went with a pair of breaking balls to start the at-bat, but the fastball not working either. He's facing Jack Fleming, who has to wait on a pickoff attempt on Best there at first. Just the second inning in San Antonio, Birmingham-Southern up 4-0. Much slower paced game already than what we had yesterday, as Fleming tosses the bat after a 4-pitch walk. Not how McGahan wanted to start his outing out of the bullpen.
No, definitely not walks the problem for Jack Martinez, and a similar story in that at-bat for McGahan, but still only needs one out to get out of this without any further damage.
He'll have to get past Jacob Zito. Fastball high. It's really a picture-perfect day in San Antonio. A bigger crowd than last night. You see the stands behind you. Those first 2 rows of seats already full. Lazera, back throw to first. Nice idea. Davison was there, but Fleming able to dive back in time.
And nearly gets him there, able to just barely get back to the bag in time. That's a lot closer than most of those usually are.
McGahan looking back at second, now towards first, before delivering a foul ball towards the visitors' bullpen. A good crowd on hand here, and expect good crowds for the basketball games that we have on campus starting in just an hour or so. Austin College in town. That means we have Tigers, Panthers, and Kangaroos all on the loose on campus. A zoo environment certainly here on Trinity's campus. I know you love zoos, Cole.
I do love zoos, Brian. Always excited to have a bunch of animals. We have a great zoo within walking distance of Trinity. I like to go there every now and then. But yeah, it's great to have all these athletic events on campus, and especially with the SCAC tournament coming up in a little bit. It's a great atmosphere here.
The 2-2 from McGahan, grounded to second. Colt Harris gathers it, throws it on to first. And Colt Harris says, let's stop talking about zoos and let's get to hitting. That's exactly what the Tigers will do. Although I do think that a good, healthy percentage of why you decided to come to Trinity was because the zoo is right across the street.
That was, I don't know about a healthy percentage. It was definitely factored in, though.
Factored in is a good way to put it. But it certainly is fun to have all of that around Trinity. And it'll be good to learn why these Birmingham-Southern Panthers are the Panthers, don't you think? You know, this is your first weekend as a broadcaster, but you've heard some of my mascot stories, haven't you?
I have. It is not a Tiger Network broadcast without a mascot story, Brian.
Well, we'll tease it at that. The Panther story will be coming up at some point, either today or tomorrow, so you don't want to go anywhere. We'll take a quick break with Learson back on the mound, but be back for the bottom of the second. How the tables have turned for Josh Learson on the mound. He loaded the bases in the first inning, looked at risk of really losing it there to the Tigers early on, but he was able to record a couple of strikeouts to get out of it, and now he has a 4-run lead as he faces the leadoff hitter Michael Montreza to start the bottom half of the second.
Absolutely. Birmingham-Southern able to cash in on some walks given up by Jack Martinez, but hey, They were copying each other in the first inning. We'll see if we can get a little bit of that in the second inning and tie this game at 4.
Excellent point, Cole, and no better guy to perhaps start that rally. We were just talking about Panthers and Tigers and zoos. Well, Michael Montreza from Los Gatos, California, the Cats, if you know Spanish. So the senior from Los Gatos, California, the perfect man to be in this cat fight. And he looks at ball 4, and we'll start this off with a 4-pitch walk.
All right, let the copying begin. Able to get that base runner on. Tigers couldn't cash in on any of their base runners, had them loaded in that first inning. We'll see if they can change and maybe flip the script and get some runs here.
Learson gave up 1 base hit in the first inning, but it was those 2 walks that loaded the bases in reality. And he starts off this frame with another one of those, brings up Jack Peterson from the left side of the plate. Peterson electing to go with the high socks today, the maroon on full display. I think it's an excellent look, especially during a day game. Looks at 1 above the zone, and that's 6 straight balls from Learson, drawing a visit from the catcher Fleming.
Yeah, kind of similar to Martinez. I mean, Martinez able to get that first out and looked kind of settled in, but then, you know, throwing some balls, gave up some walks, and we're kind of seeing a similar thing from Learson. So I'm curious to know what factors into that for both of these guys.
That's probably the quickest visit you'll ever see to the mound. Fleming literally went out there, told him one thing, and went right back. And it has to be as simple as, you're up 4, throw strikes, make them beat you. We'll see if he listens. He does throw a strike. So far, 2 visits to the mound, 1 from the coach, 1 from the catcher, and whatever they are saying is working.
Yeah, not a bad message, and definitely not bad results after those visits, but an important thing to know, Jack Peterson, that guy up, definitely an energizing person. We were in his team's dugout for game 2 as he acts at that one, but we were in his team's dugout for game 2, and they were down, I think, 6-1 in their Winter World Series game. And he was the person who really brought that dugout up, really got them energized, and they were actually able to come back and win that game. So I'm curious to see if he can spark a similar rally today.
His team sweeping the Winter World Series. Learson checking in on Montreza at first. As Jack Peterson would love for people to know, part of that rally was a home run off of his roommate, Harrison Durow. Little roommate rivalry. As Montreza faked a steal attempt, stays over there at first, though, and the count full now. It was all even, though, don't worry. Harrison did strike out Peterson first, and then Peterson hit a home run. So both roommates have won something. And now both of them are on the same team here as Peterson awaits the 3-2, sends it to the opposite field. The center fielder charging will not get there. That's a base hit for Jack Peterson, and the first 2 men have reached for the Tigers.
Absolutely great piece of hitting by Jack Peterson, able to do something that they weren't really able to do last night, and that's really work that count and get into a situation where you have some balls on your side in the count, able to not necessarily go swinging on that first pitch all the time, working the count and then eventually getting a hit to get 2 people on.
And this is where it might be very beneficial for Trinity to have Colt Harris in the 9 spot. Showed bunt, but pulled it back early on the breaking ball. We'll see if he's really serious about that bunt, because he has some pop in that bat. Not your prototypical 9-hole hitter. He hit 6 home runs a year ago, drove in 42 runs, and hit .319 to really claim that second base spot. Does show bunt again, and he's pulling it back very early, so not sure how committed he is to it as the count reaches 1-1.
Yeah, I think the thing with the 9-hole hitter on this team is that the depth on this team is absolutely outstanding, and there's so many pieces that can be worked in this lineup. I think the 9-hole is just that somebody has to do it, and in this case, it's Colt Harris.
Not showing bunt here, instead swings away and fouls it the other way.
Important for Trinity to cash in on this opportunity. I know it's down 4-0, and usually that's kind of out of what you would think the realm is to come back. Usually it's 3 or 2, but they have guys on. It's a really opportunity to chip away at that deficit.
The first 2 men have reached. No outs in the bottom of the second. Harris trying to keep this rally going. Takes one high and inside.
That was kind of impressive by Harris. That ball was up towards his head, and he didn't even look like he flinched.
These baseball players have been around it so long. The casual viewer might head to a baseball field and flinch at everything, even when there's a net protecting you. But not these Panthers and Tigers. Harris patiently waiting for the 2-2 and a step off. We haven't seen a pickoff attempt to second base yet, but when we do see it, there's an important rule change to mention to go along with it. We've only seen pickoff attempts at first. That was just a step off. Learson now ready to throw a hit and run in action, and it's going to get to right field. Montreza was off and running, but it was hit so hard that he'll have to hold up at third.
You said it, Brian, a lot of pop in that bat. And Colt Harris able to get on here and load the bases. It's a high pitch, able to fight it off and put it into right field. And Trinity had the bases loaded in the first inning. It's going to be important for them to cash in here. It's a huge momentum play. If they really want to copy Birmingham-Southern, you got to bring these guys in.
Both Montreza and Peterson were in motion on that pitch. A risk certainly with 2 strikes as Baker tries to check his swing but can't on that breaking ball. But the risk certainly paying off, and this is a team that throughout the preseason talking about wanting to push the envelope. They know that runs might be harder to come by this year for a multitude of reasons. So when they can steal a base, put a bunt down, get a sacrifice fly, they are certainly going to take it. And the lineup now at the top with Jack Baker. And I know you love the bat itself of Jack Baker, don't you, Cole?
Yes, he calls it the glow stick or the lightsaber. I'm curious to know which name the viewers prefer. I'm thinking the glow stick because I don't think there's an orange lightsaber. But, you know, Jack Baker, he's a great job, and you saw it there, fouling off pitches. We saw it in the Winter World Series when he was playing towards the top of the lineup. Able to get he has great hands, able to really touch everything that's thrown at him. And that's really valuable with 2 strikes especially.
He has a massive chance here with the bases loaded, nobody out. Tigers down 4, trying to get a little closer here. The 1-2 on the way, a breaking ball stays up there, and it's into center field for a base hit. 1 run across, here comes Peterson, the throw not in time, and the Tigers having the lead just like that.
Jack Baker, good piece of hitting, able to foul it off with 2 strikes, stay alive, and keeps his Tigers alive, down 4-0. Gets 2 of them right back. It's a breaking ball that's just going to hang there, and you can't hang it with Jack Baker there.
That glow stick alive and well. Peterson, an excellent read off of second base, scoring the 2nd run, and a visit to the mound coming from the Birmingham-Southern dugout, and the arm extended. A quick hook from Coach Jan Weisberg as Josh Learson, the X factor for this BSC team, in the words of Coach Weisberg, will head to the dugout, having allowed 2 runs here in the 2nd inning. He's responsible for 2 more on base, and we'll take a break as the Tigers right back in this one. Starting pitcher Josh Learson not getting much of an opportunity to get out of his own jam after loading the bases for the second straight inning and giving up 2 runs to Jack Baker. He is called to the dugout in favor of Hanson McCown, the senior from Indian Springs, Alabama. And what a test to face Ezra Gore as your first batter. He does pump in a fastball to get his afternoon going.
Yeah, absolutely. The mirroring continues between these two teams. Getting people on in the first inning for both of them, leaving these guys stranded 3 each, and now starting to pump in some runs.
Ezra Gore pops it to right field. Having to deal with that fence over there on the visitors' bullpen is something that both teams are having to deal with. If you remember watching games a year ago, that fence was a lot farther from fair territory and a lot higher. This year, though, it is sticking out there, and it allows Ezra Gore to jump right back in the batter's box as that went into the bullpen itself. Yeah, he is down 0-2, though.
Yeah, less foul territory out there, and also something that Coach Dave Smith talked to us about, a lot of more ground rule doubles for balls hitting the right field.
You can tell Gore had an eye on that one, a good swing to send it right back behind him.
Yeah, great opportunity for Trinity here to climb right back in this thing. I mean, they already have. They cut the deficit in half, but trying to bring that guy from second in to score, and no better guy to do it than Ezra Gore.
He's behind 0-2 as McCown takes a long look at second, now delivers the breaking ball that does not break very much. A dangerous pitch to Gore, who is 0 for 1 today, went 0 for 4 yesterday. But you do not expect him to be very quiet for very long. Ezra Gore, one of the better years of any Tiger in 2022, hit .351, had 5 home runs, 40 RBI, and a staple in this Trinity lineup. Nice take there on the breaking ball outside.
It's great anticipation by him. He had no intention of swinging at that. It was almost like he knew it was coming, expected it, and able to lay off of it.
McCown trying to take care of it, 1-2. That one's in the turf for the second ball of the at-bat. In case you're wondering how rare it is for Ezra Gore to not have a hit in the game, well, he had a 31-game hit streak a year ago, the longest at Trinity since 2003 and 2004, courtesy of Jason Armstrong, the newly inducted Hall of Famer at Trinity University. And Gore has a hanging breaking ball, but gets just underneath it. It is Best going out there at short and making the catch. This is a left fielder there nearly colliding with him. But a nice job by McCown to come in from the bullpen and get Gore to pop out.
Able to get that first out, like you said, hanging breaking ball. That's when Ezra's probably going to want to do some damage with. Pops it up, and nearly a blunder out there defensively. Best able to make the play. I think the left fielder able to kind of at the last second see that Best was going to get that ball and dive out of the way, avoiding what could have been a pretty catastrophic mishap for Birmingham.
The look out here. Lazera loves to swing at that first pitch like he did last at bat. Looks at a ball here.
Based on that pitch, I'm assuming he knew he likes to swing at the first pitch. Gives him the curveball. But Lazera able to lay off of it.
Sophomore from Carrollton, Texas, trying to make some damage here. Lazera sends it the other way. Zito getting underneath it, no trouble. An important update, though, with the Tigers on the board for the first time all year. Head coach Cameron Hill, who is getting ready for his own game against Austin College, wants you to know that it is his fault that the Tigers scored, finally. He is responsible for it. He took care of business with his team, beating Dallas last night. Ranked number 4 in the country, just like the Birmingham-Southern Panthers are on the baseball field. Davison looks at a ball outside. You mentioned it, Cole. Davison was a catcher for much of his career here at Trinity, but he has fought for every at-bat. Whether it's going to left field, now playing some first base, he needs to get in the lineup in the eyes of Tim Scannell, swinging over the top of that one. But definitely expect to see the senior from Utah in the heart of that lineup a lot more this season.
Great bat. A lot of them throughout the lineup, and Coach Scannell doing a great job just trying to find a way to get all these guys on the field every weekend. And, you know, the lineup might not be as fluid as he would like day in and day out, but opportunities for everybody.
A ground ball from Davison, gathered by Dutton, and McCown does his job, getting the call from the bullpen. Got Gore, got Lazera, and now gets Davison. But Jack Baker, you see it on your screen, the replay here, a bases loaded single to drive in a pair, cuts the lead in half for Birmingham-Southern, and it's shaping up to be a good one. 4-2 as we head to the top of the third on Tiger Network. Four to 2 the lead for Birmingham-Southern as Cade McGahan pumps in a fastball for a strike on Webster. McGahan looking to keep things right where they're at. Replaced Jack Martinez, the starting pitcher for today's game. Able to get out of the second inning without further damage, and now starting the third all by himself.
Now Lazera wanted to check to see if Webster swung or not. Looks like he didn't go, but went there.
No question about that one. 1-2, the count in favor of McGahan. Goes back to the breaking ball, some soft contact, and a good job fielding his position for McGahan. Gets an easy out to start the third.
Able to get that soft contact, get one out on the board really quickly. Good job fielding. That one actually looked like it hung a bit. But McGahan able to make the good play with his glove and get that first out of the inning.
It brings up Eli Stedman. Looks at a ball high to start his at-bat. Stedman played a key part in Birmingham-Southern's rally last inning. He started it all. He looks at a strike here on the outside part. He drew a walk on a really great at-bat, took it full, battled back, and got on base, then stole second, and came around to score the first run of the game on the Andrew Dutton double. So Eli living up to the Stedman name that has a lot of history in Birmingham, Alabama. Fastball in a similar spot brings McGahan behind 3-1. Going to the exact same spot, and he gets the exact same result, a 5-pitch walk to Stedman. And we just said it, he already stole once. Look out for him to go once again.
Absolutely, you got to look out for all of these guys to go. But went to that same high outside, went to that same location 3 straight times. Lazera trying to frame it all 3 times, didn't get the call either time.
It'll be Will Lantis at bat with runner on first, 1 away here. First pitch, a strike to the senior. He also came around to score on a walk last inning. And important for McGahan to deal with this part of the lineup that we already talked about, being dangerous in and of itself. But it's that top part that you really want to face with nobody on if possible. McGahan delivers it to Lantis, and he fouls it straight back.
Yeah, really important to get Will Lantis out. It's if he gets on, it's very similar to how things set up last inning for Birmingham. And able to get Dutton on with guys in scoring, with a person in scoring position. And that's always a dangerous thing when you're facing this Panthers team.
McGahan ahead in the count, 0-2 here as he'll check once again on the runner Stedman. Panthers with 2 stolen bases already this afternoon, had a pair last night. Coach Jan Weisberg saying he never really sends a steal. Out of those 142 last year, only about 20 of them were called by him and the coaching staff, saying that everybody on this team has a green light, and they are not afraid to go. McGahan has the 1-2 advantage on Lantis. Stedman taking a lead, not going anywhere though, and a swing and a miss by Lantis. Second out of the inning recorded for McGahan.
Yeah, able to floor that breaking ball, get him swinging over the top of it. A huge strikeout there. Nobody in scoring position when the top of this order comes up. Keeping a guy at first and getting that second out. That was a big strikeout there for Cade McGahan.
Now he has to get past the dangerous bat of Andrew Dutton. 1 for 1 today with a walk. Came around to score and drove in a run. Just as he was yesterday, at the heart of everything good happening for Birmingham-Southern. There's a reason Coach Weisberg says he is someone that makes his team go. Takes a breaking ball right there for a strike. Stedman still inching off of first and hanging around as that breaking ball misses low. McGahan seeing action a whole lot earlier than he did a year ago as he takes a quick step off here. In fact, McGahan didn't pitch until March 22nd of 2022, and as you can see, we're starting the season on February 10th and now the 11th. So that was about a month and a half into the season. As the runner now going, Lazera, the throw was in time, but Montreza couldn't hold on to it. Now Stedman heading to third after that collision. And these base runners causing chaos once again for the Panthers.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a threat. And that's probably the worst case scenario, that that ball gets through as the throw is on time. Just a little out in front, it probably looked like from that angle. It's a difficult play that gets through and able to get to third. A much different situation now for McGahan.
Much different situation on several fronts. Not only will a hit score a run, but a ball in the dirt that gets past Lazera will score a run, so have to be hyper-focused here, does the catcher. The 2-1 on the way inside for a strike.
I would say the one note is that that strikeout that he had on the previous at-bat proving really important right now because that second out eliminates the sac fly possibility. So he's going to actually have to get one through here.
And the 2-2 gets him swinging again. Back-to-back Ks for Cade McGahan. Keeps the lead at 4-2 for Birmingham-Southern. And the Tigers get the chance to bring it back to even after this short break. Welcome back to Tiger Network. Bottom of the third, Birmingham-Southern 4, Trinity 2. And those 4 runs, certainly nice for the Panthers to have, but they are going to regret leaving 6 runners on base thus far. It's a big swing by Nelson, doesn't connect with the pitch. Bases loaded in the first, none of them came across to score, and in that last inning, leaving a man on third. And against a Trinity offense that looks like it might start to get going after that last inning, every run so important in the ball game like this.
Yeah, absolutely. If Birmingham loses this lead and Trinity's able to come back, you're definitely going to look at those men left on base as a huge story of this one. Right now they have the 2-run lead, but as you said, Brian, these bats are starting to get going.
Nelson sends a foul ball the other way, drifting out of play. Nelson struck out his first time at the plate, 0 for 1 today. Didn't get a hit last night, as many of these Tigers did not. Only Christian Holloway and Ty Preston, both not in the lineup today, were the ones to get a hit. A perfectly placed breaking ball, a late call from the umpire, but it looked good from the start. McCown looking good out of the bullpen, 3 outs out of the bullpen last inning, and now a strikeout to start this frame.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting out of that last jam, probably a good confidence booster for him. And so far rolling to start this one. Plowed right through Brandon Nelson.
It'll bring up Trey Verver, who swings over the first pitch for a strike. McCown, very familiar with these Trinity Tigers, came in for 2/3 of an inning, gave up 2 hits and a run in Game 2 of the Super Regional that Trinity went on to win. McCown dots the corner there, ahead 0-2. Those games were thrilling from start to finish. Trinity winning 9-8 and 14-8 to advance to the College World Series in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. McCown trying to go upstairs, fought off by Verver.
McCown doing a great job with that breaking ball, pretty much putting it everywhere around, in and around the zone, throwing it a lot for strikes. That's how we got Brandon Nelson, and that's how we flew out Ezra Gore. But you can locate that breaking ball for strikes. It's really the hitters almost have to swing at it, and then when you decide to floor it that one time, you can make them look a little silly.
Verver takes the 0-2 outside. Bring up that Super Regional at this particular moment because it's a good showcase of why these two teams are never out of it. Birmingham-Southern trailed 7-0 in that Game 2, and they tied it at 8, forcing Trinity to score a few runs in the latter half of the game in the 8th inning, and then 5 in the 9th for the Tigers to escape with a win. But it was a 4-0 lead in the second for Birmingham-Southern. But history tells you that you are never bored when these two teams are on the diamond. McCown, another strikeout, blows it by Verver, and he is looking confident as the senior here, making a statement against the maroon and white. A strikeout looking, a strikeout swinging. What will Michael Montreza offer up? Looks at a first pitch strike.
Really locating that breaking ball all around. Gets it on the outside there. Goes to a similar spot, maybe a lower part of the strike zone. But he's doing a great job throwing it for strikes. That seems to be his go-to.
Yeah, so far on command. He is getting it where he wants it, going right back there, and again, exactly where Fleming had it, except this time it was a little off the zone. But even there, you saw Fleming give a little nod to his pitcher, who is locating with ease, going to that similar spot. Now an off-speed, though. The check over there at first says Montreza held up.
That's exactly what I was saying earlier. You locate that breaking ball in the zone, you're going to almost have to swing at it, but Montreza does a great job checking that one. He really wanted it as that bat nearly came to the line, but able to hold the swing.
Another off-speed delivery. Montreza able to stay alive. Montreza, someone we've seen consistently take the ball the other way to right field, and he does it with power as well. So if McCown stays there on the outside part of the plate, Montreza might make the adjustment, and as we say that, Fleming crouching in And that's going to be a mistake because Montreza gets it in his wheelhouse. A line drive single into left for a base hit.
Yeah, we'll see if this can be the start of something for Trinity, but Montreza able, and you go back to that early part of that at-bat as you're going to see this hit here. It's another breaking ball, but he seemed to be able to identify the level of it, you know, whether it was high, whether it was going to be low, because that seemed to be kind of how he was throwing his breaking balls, whether it was going to be in the strike or whether he was going to floor it. Able to take one earlier to keep the at-bat going, and able to swing at that one.
Breaky ball looking good there on Peterson, swings past it. Peterson, a part of that rally, getting a single into center field and then came around to score the second run of the afternoon for Trinity. Montreza taking his lead off first. A foul ball by Peterson right in front of him. Taking a deep breath, holding his bat up in front of him, and now ready to go as the umpire gives the signal. McCown buries it, and Peterson takes it.
Yeah, I don't think that pitch was as offerable. I think it dropped just a little too early, and Peterson had no intention of swinging at that one.
There goes Montreza, but it won't matter. Called third strike. Peterson buckled by that curveball. And that's the third out of the inning for Birmingham-Southern. So a base hit by Montreza, but he is left there at first. McCown doing his job out of the bullpen, keeping it 4-2 in favor of Birmingham-Southern. Welcome back to Tiger Network. Birmingham-Southern up 2, and a bunt attempt shown will end up a strike as McGahan coming out of the bullpen, replacing the starter Jack Martinez, and so far, so good. A pair of walks, but also a pair of strikeouts in key moments. An inning and a third so far for the senior. Thought he had a strike there at the top of the zone. Did not, as McNearney has it at 1-1. Said that McGahan didn't appear in a game until March 22nd of last year as he forces a ground ball to short, and it gets underneath the glove of Montreza there, trying to backhand that one, and it got underneath of it for the air.
Yeah,
look at that replay.
Unfortunate play there for Montreza. It looked like that was going to be soft contact. It's tough to let one of those slip away. As you get to see the replay here. Yeah, just misplayed that. That'll be one he wants back, but that's a tough play with Birmingham-Southern and their ability to run the bases.
100%. It's not only stealing bases that speed comes into play, it's on a seemingly routine ground ball like that suddenly becomes a whole lot less routine when you know they are hustling down the line. And so the air allows McNearney to hop on to first, and it brings up Ian Hancock to the plate. McGahan, just 5 appearances last year, 3 starts, But in that first start that he got on a Tuesday evening, where it so often tends to happen, those Tuesday games, giving the coaches an opportunity to let other guys get some opportunities, and he impressed in a couple of non-conference matchups. Finished out the year in the bullpen, and now opening weekend did come out of the bullpen, but someone we wouldn't be surprised to see starting, as Hancock golfs that one and sends it to Peterson, who ranges over and makes the catch. Perfect positioning by the center fielder for a loud out number one.
Yeah, unfortunate for him that was in the deepest part of the ballpark. If he had hit that more to right field, that could have been out of here. But Peterson able to track that down in deep center field, able to pretty much be pressed up against the wall and make the play.
That's twice now we've seen Peterson take a hit away from Hancock. Certainly flirting with the fence this weekend, but unable to go over it yet. And it brings up Noah Best, the cleanup hitter. You can hear the got him calls from the Tiger dugout, but he did not in fact get him. He is safe back at first. Breaking ball up high. And I think these runners are seeing so many pickoff moves. You can't see it on your screen, but we got a chance to see McNearney on the delivery home, took a step back to first, and now he will have to go back to first, as at the very least, these Tiger pitchers keeping them honest.
Yeah, it's something we have to do when speed's on the back, and speed is everywhere through this lineup. It doesn't really matter who's at first. Everybody can steal.
Little pop fly to center field. Peterson shields his eyes, makes the catch, and McNearney will head back to first, as McGahan doing a great job through the teeth of this Panther lineup. First, Hancock, now Best, gone back to the dugout.
Yeah, always a nervous feeling when they can get a hold of one a little bit, but so far able to get, it's going deep, but obviously not far enough, and able to get some outs, relying on his defense.
That one there looked like a pitch out of sorts, missed high and away. Panthers credited with 4 steals so far today. I do think one of those was just on the throw that got away that allowed Stedman to take third. But nonetheless, a very active day as expected by these running Panthers.
Yeah, just a regular Tuesday for them. But, you know, it's obviously a threat, as gets the call there. But obviously a threat anytime they play anybody. Everybody's so good at running the bases, 1 through 9. And it's just really special when you have that ability.
Foul back into the net by Fleming. A 1-2 count in favor of McGahan.
See if McGahan goes to his curveball here. He's gotten a few batters with that as he floors it. And we'll see if he uses it to get out of the inning.
First, he'll check on McNearney, who reached on that fielding error by Montreza. But the pitcher trying to bail out his shortstop. Goes high with it. Lazera standing up to make the catch, and Fleming not biting. We'll see if that was an effort to change his eye level. As McNearney dives in safely. So often you see that high fastball with 2 strikes to then set up the curveball, and it is what it was, but perhaps not as low as McGahan intended. Fleming able to put a good swing on it, sent it foul.
Yeah, on those prior 2, he really dirted that one, almost put it right on the plate. That one nearly touched the zone, definitely higher than he wanted it probably. But he did go to it. We'll see if he does it again.
He does, and he gets a swinging strike. Fleming couldn't hold up, and a perfect recovery after the error by McGahan to send the 2, 3, 4 hitters home packing. It is through 4 in San Antonio. Tigers coming to bat, looking to even things up at 4. Colt Harris, the number 9 hitter in the lineup, but the leadoff hitter here in the bottom of the fourth. The junior from Katy, Texas, lined a single into right field to load the bases in the second. Eventually led to 2 Tiger runs, and he'll look to start something similar. Pulls it to the third baseman. The throw in time and on target as Harris sat down quickly by McCown, who is looking good out of this Panther bullpen.
Yeah, swinging early, breaking ball. We've seen it all day. I think Harris just a little on top of that one. And goes over the third baseman for the easy out.
Jack Baker, responsible for the 2 Tiger runs. Sees a ball outside out of the hand of McCown. Mentioned he is a senior who saw 12 appearances a year ago, 15 and 2/3 innings for him. So not a ton of action. Gets a strike on the corner here to Baker. He had an ERA of over 5 in those 12 appearances. He struck out 19, walked just 10. Baker sends one in the air the other way. Should be playable, and it is by the right fielder, Stedman. 2 quick outs for McCown in the bottom of the fourth.
Yep, another breaking ball, shocker. This one more towards the middle. As Baker just can't get enough on it there. So 2 outs, a great start for McCown. It's definitely not in the trouble he was last inning.
Some trouble here perhaps off the bat of Gore to right center field, but ranging over in time and making the catch over his head is McNearney. Excellent play by the center fielder. We'll get another look at it here. Gore, first pitch swinging, lined it. Thought it might be trouble.
A great ranging play there by the center fielder. Kind of an awkward position. He didn't have time to just get under it, but able to get the third out in a really quick inning from McCown. Only 6 pitches, I think.
Very few indeed. And what he's doing better than anything is pounding the zone. He is making these Tigers beat him, and so far they have not. Keeps the lead at 4-2 for Birmingham-Southern as we take a break at the end of the inning and be back for more Cade McGahan. First pitch from McGahan, top of the 5th, just a bit low. Jacob Zito, the man at the plate, chops one up the middle. Montreza makes the play and then bobbles the throw, which is late to allow the runner to reach. So Montreza having a little bit of trouble up the middle. First a fielding error last inning that got underneath him, and now couldn't quite get the ball in his hand. We'll wait to see the official scoring, but should be an error on that play.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier, Brian, the speed of these base runners, not only impacting it once they get on base, but also forcing the defense to make plays a little quicker. And I think we saw it there, that bobble just costing him that half second, and then it ends up costing him an out.
Jackson Webster nearly hit in the elbow, able to get it out of the way. Ahead 1-0. It's another component of this turf. The consensus seems to be that long-term, it'll help the Trinity defense because you will get used to the hops These infielders will know what to expect when a hard ground ball is hit in their direction. There's no little pebbles that'll get in the way, or no uncut grass maybe on one day, or if it's wet, dry, either way. All of that and impact when the field is dirt, but now that it is all turfed out, it'll be the same every time. But it's new to you at home watching the game. It's very new to these players. In fact, this turf was really not ready until the beginning of the offseason out of the new year, as Webster swings underneath that high fastball. That's why we keep mentioning the Winter World Series. That World Series typically occurring in the fall, in October, when the baseball team gets some days to work out, practice, and then eventually have their fall World Series. Well, they didn't have a World Series because they didn't have a field. It looked like a beach here at Trinity's campus as everything was being cemented and foundation was being set. But now the turf is ready to go, and everything looking good on your screen and in person, as Verver able to get there for the fly out.
Yeah, Trey Verver, second play he's made in that area of the field. This one not closer to the wall. This one not as close to the wall as the last one was. But rangy right fielder, but I think the best part about him is his arm. And that could be pretty valuable if a sac fly happens in his area of the field.
Breaking ball inside, a strike to Stedman. As McGahan, for the second consecutive inning, looks to work around an error that started the frame. Continues to check on the runner over there, Zito. But all of this calculating into the formula for the Trinity Tigers, this talk of a new turf and how it'll impact the game. Coach Scannell's saying more runs will have to be manufactured. So whether that's stealing a base, laying down a bunt like we talked about when the Tigers were on offense, but also defensively really having to hunker down and play well on a turf that will become an advantage, as the visitor will not be used to it at all on any given weekend. The Tigers will become familiar with it as the season goes along. But early on, a couple of errors by the shortstop that have given the Panthers some life in the middle of this game.
I think one thing that was mentioned when we're talking about the impact of the turf is that these ground balls are going to come at you a little harder. So you're not going to have as much time to react and make a play. And that could impact the Tigers' defense as they continue to get used to this new surface.
That one's chopped the other way, foul. Count remains 0-2. The comparison that was made by Coach Scannell was Concordia. Concordia up in Austin has a turf field. The Trinity Tigers often go up there most years. And every time they go up there, he says it's like a 4-3 game, 5-4, very low scoring. And so they're taking their cues from those games and some other experiences that they've seen along the way in expecting everything to be lower scoring at home, because of that turf eventually helping the defenses more often than not.
Yeah, and they're really preparing for that all week. As another throw to first here from McGahan. But they're preparing and manufacturing runs. We saw them stealing a lot in that Winter World Series. We saw them stealing a lot in practice. Pitchers practicing their sidestep and their pickoff move. So that one's going to be grounded foul. And we thought, originally, at least my thought was that it was because they were playing Birmingham-Southern. Oh, they're number 3 in the nation in steals. That makes sense. But really, it's because they want to practice throughout the entire season being more aggressive and figuring out ways to manufacture runs, because they feel like they're going to have to do that on the surface.
This at-bat lasting quite a while for Stedman. Many pickoff moves in between, a strikeout. Stedman having to wait on it and could not.
Yep, another strikeout opportunity. Goes to the curveball once again. Great level for him, right below the knees. And just gets him swinging over it, exactly what you want on that pitch.
That's strikeout number 4 out of the bullpen for number 31. Big looping breaking ball in there for a strike. Lantis, the number 9 hitter, trying to flip the lineup card over with 2 outs, runner on first.
Seems like Macau and McGahan almost have similar favorite pitches. As another pickoff attempt there. As McCown really using that breaking ball, that looping one, throwing it into the zone for strikes and throwing it below at the right times. And McGahan Similar thing, his favorite pitch in the biggest situations. The looping breaking ball down below the knees, trying to get him to swing over it.
Bunt shown by Lantis. Brings the count to 1-1 as McGahan heads back to the mound. To be fair to Montreza, the official scoring has come in, and it was decided that it was a single to start the inning by Zito, not an error. And so the determination was he had to range over up the middle, a tough play to make, and the transfer didn't happen in time, and the official scorer saying that's a base hit for Jacob Zito. Nonetheless, so McGahan doing a nice job to work around it. Thus far, retiring the next two hitters and now trying to take care of Lantis. Would be in his best favor to not face Dutton here. A foul ball off the bat of Lantis, so keeps his at-bat going. Four runs for Birmingham-Southern, all coming in the top of the second. Tigers responding with two in that same frame. And since then, nothing on the board. That one's inside. Lazera, the throw. Again, not held onto by Montreza. A big collision there. Montreza slow to get up. But it'll be yet another stolen base for BSC.
Yep, obviously something they do a lot, that pitch inside. And they just haven't been able to connect on those a lot. And I think the collision on there impacting Montreza's ability.
Now a base hit could score a run. The count 2-2. Lantis makes contact. Baker charging in from third. Throw in time to Davison for out number 3. A single to start the inning. A steal with 2 outs, but that's all they get. No runs come across the score for Birmingham-Southern as we head to the bottom of the 5th, halfway home in the Alamo City. Tigers looking to get some runs. Three pretty flawless innings so far for Hanson McCown out of the Panther bullpen. Looks to keep it going. First pitch ball to Lazera. He'll have Lazera, Davison, and Nelson, the 3, 4, 5 hitters for Trinity. Lazera banged a single up the middle. 1 for 2 thus far. Looks at a breaking ball high, so a 2-0 count in the catcher's favor.
Yep, seeing the level really well of these breaking balls, because that's really McCown's strength, as he's changing the level of where he throws the ball. And Lazera doing a great job taking things that aren't in the zone.
Patient at bat thus far for the catcher. Not biting on these close calls that McCown has wanted. He has pounded the strike zone in his 3 innings. Gets back to it there with a strike. Just one hit off of McCown thus far, 3 strikeouts. And very importantly, if you watch the very beginning of this game, no walks. And that's gonna be a drive to right field. You can kiss it goodbye. Nick Lazera makes some noise with a solo shot to put the Tigers within 1.
Nick Lazera gets up 3-0, a really dangerous spot for a pitcher that's going to rely on the breaking ball because he's going to have to put it in the zone. Lazera knows it, and he's able to do damage with it. With his dog Frank in the building, he had to hit a home run, and he's going to put the Tigers within 1.
A majestic swing. He knew it off the bat, flipped it behind him, and I feel bad for whoever parked in right field today. No, me and Cole are not responsible for broken windshield. Just never park in right field on game day, really ever after the new year, especially when Nick Lazera is in the ballpark, because he can do that many, many times. Davison now ahead of the count 2-0 as McCown maybe a little rattled here after that 3-1 shot.
Yeah, I think so. He just got put in a difficult situation. He's down 2-0 here, so it's going to be a similar one, but he had to put it in the zone unless he wanted to walk him. But I honestly think it would have been better to just lose him there.
2-0 pitch fouled away by Davison. We know that Nick was not happy with how the game ended yesterday. Looked at a 3-2 pitch with runners on first and second in that 3-run ball game. That was a called third strike to end the game. He was frustrated by how his at-bat went and wanted to get back at it this afternoon. And what a way to do so with that solo home run. That last pitch, a breaking ball that the umpire says was a strike. Davison not thrilled with the call, but it does pull McCown even in the count now. Big swing pitch for him because it could have been 3-1 again. Davison continues to battle, though, and fouls it towards the bullpen.
Yeah, able to get that call there. Pretty big one for him. Even that count without having to give him a cookie over the middle, because that's kind of what he had to give to Lazera being down 3-0. And Lazera made him pay, trying not to repeat history.
Davison doing a nice job to wait back on that one and just fight it behind him. Taking a look at his bat. And now stepping back into the batter's box. The 2-2 count still after several foul balls. Trinity within 1 after that Nick Lazera home run. Another close call goes against Davison and really getting the short end of the stick there in that at-bat. Davison looking at a breaking ball and then a fastball that the umpire said were strikes, even though he certainly did not think so.
Yeah, the first one I'm not so sure about. Second one definitely more inside than that last one. I thought the strike call was going to come sooner because that last pitch was more inside than the slider that he gave a strike anyways. Hesitated and gave Birmingham the call there.
Big swing by Nelson for the first strike of this at-bat. Davison, in talking to him over the years, he was my hallmate freshman year in McLean Hall. Shout out McLean. But ever since getting to know him, no one on this team has a better idea of the strike zone than him as a former catcher. So tend to believe him when he is upset with a call. And after his at-bat, a fly ball to left field by Nelson gets McCown back in a rhythm. 2 outs gone in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, those 2 outs going to settle him down a little bit. You can get a little rattled after the home run, like you said, but able to maybe get some calls. But ultimately, he did it. He got the outs, made the pitches to get the called strikes, and now he's in a position to get out of here with only the 1 run given up.
Verver gets on top of one, sends it to left field, but a perfect spot defensively for Zito. Will be the 3rd out of the inning. A solo home run off the bat of Nick Lazera. It was a 3-1 count, and he made McCown pay. Makes it a 1-run ball game in San Antonio. An excellent game on this Saturday afternoon. First pitch strike by McGahan coming off an inning that saw his team get within one. And he'll have to face the top of the Birmingham-Southern lineup in the form of Andrew Dutton, who he gets ahead of 0-2 here with a couple of nice pitches. McGahan looking confident, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks, and just 1 hit across 3 and a third inning thus far.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He stopped the bleeding that kind of he inherited. And then he's kind of taken over the game since then. He's instituted his own stuff. He's really in rhythm right now. But it's a huge opportunity for Birmingham-Southern right now. You have the top of the order up after Trinity's gotten some momentum. They've crawled back to within 1. And you have a chance to extend your lead.
Dutton chops this one off his own foot, which explains why he is not running out of the box despite McGahan getting on top of it. A painful foul ball off the bat of the leadoff hitter, taking a few steps and taking a breath before returning to the box.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw Lazera get hit with a foul ball last night, and he was feeling it afterwards. So I imagine Andrew Dutton, similar experience there.
Breaking ball outside, gets the count even at 2.
We've seen it with McGahan all day. Curveball low. We'll see if we get it here.
Right on cue. It was a curveball. Not where he wanted it, though. It was middle, and Dutton sends it straight back. A good swing by him.
Yeah, I think the speed of that one's what got Dutton. I think it just came at him a little straighter, so it was probably a little faster than he expected, and I think he was just late on it.
He goes back to the curveball. This time Dutton is all over it, sends it to left field. But right there is Ezra Gore making his first major appearance in left field. And you can see if there's one thing this Trinity outfield has going for them, it is speed. Between Gore, Peterson, and Verver out there, they can track some balls down.
Yeah, absolutely, Brian. They're rangy players over there in the outfield, and they do a great job of getting really anything that's not out of the park.
McNearney waves at a slider there. 1 for 3 on the day. Grounds it up the middle. Montreza gathers it easily and throws it on to Davison. Good to see Montreza, after he had trouble with the last 2 ground balls, field that cleanly.
Yeah, he's a good fielder, Brian. He had one get away from him and bobbled the throw a little bit, but he does a good job not getting in his own head, able to make the routine play there.
Now up to bat, Ian Hancock, the designated hitter. Not the swing he wanted there, fooled by the McGahan breaking ball.
Yeah, it's that same curveball that we see at the end of the at-bats routinely. It's his strikeout pitch, but he brings it out in the first pitch and gets ahead.
Again going inside, McGahan not alarmed by the power hitter here. This time it was a fastball that went by Hancock. 0-2. McGahan standing strong on the rubber. Went back to the breaking ball in the turf. Hancock able to lay off of that one. Yeah, you can see McGahan not taking any steps off the rubber. He wants to stay in there and get going on the mound. He gets a line drive off the bat of Hancock, and that will fall in front of Peterson for a base hit. So Hancock, good 2-strike hitter. That's a 2-out single.
Yeah, I was just wondering if he was going to change up his strikeout pitch a little bit. He's been going to that curveball low and able to go down and get it that time, as these Birmingham hitters are starting to adjust to what's been working all game.
For Hancock, his first hit of the afternoon, second hit of the season. McGahan misses up top with that fastball. All things considered, if you're McGahan, a 2-out single to Hancock, not the worst thing in the world, especially when you consider the .728 slugging percentage by the designated hitter a year ago. You often see a home run, a double, or a triple, so a 2-out single the best case scenario if you are going to give up a hit. Although it does leave you now facing the cleanup hitter who has a 2-1 advantage, Noah Best. Trying to build on this 2-out rally that Hancock tried to start with his single.
Yeah, Noah Best, really good at hitting him over the fence. Obviously something you want to avoid with any hitter, especially as Best fouls that one off, especially because Best has a guy on. You definitely don't want that run to be driven in. McGahan's done a great job holding this game at 4 for the longest time and wanting to keep it that way as the Tigers have slowly chipped away at this deficit.
McGahan continues to check on Hancock. Lazera moves in closer to Best. McGahan gets it inside, but it's off the plate for a ball.
As we've seen pretty much every time in the situation, he loves to go that curveball, but you got to wonder if he's going to do it here. Because if he doesn't take it, he's going to lose the batter.
And it happened last night, happening again today. We have talked ad nauseum about Trinity checking in on those runners, but Hancock, not someone who is a super threat, was off with that one. And the throw beats Best down the line. You just have to think with Best at the plate, you want to have your full attention on him. And Hancock, not the biggest threat in the world to steal. McGahan able to deal with the adversity, and Montreza bails him out with the long throw. You can see the replay got him clearly. And it brings the Tigers to bat down just 1. Don't go anywhere. We have a good one on Tiger Network. Well, clearly, not clearly, thought Montreza had him there at first, and that was the call. But as you can see right there, the foot of the runner Best seems to be on the bag before the ball hits the glove. Thank you to our excellent replay team here in the control room, giving us a great look at that one. A break for the Tigers, headed to the bottom of the 6th here, Cole.
Yeah, absolutely. Montreza able to set his feet on that throw, thinking he has that time. He didn't, because he didn't get him in time, but gets the call, and that's huge for Trinity to try and hold this deficit here, or try and come back. They're able to keep this at a 1-run deficit. McGahan's done a great job all game of doing that, and now it's up to these Trinity hitters to try and cash in.
Montreza, the man responsible for that play, ahead 2-0, and looks at that slow delivery out of the new pitcher in the game, Connor Adams, the sophomore from Birmingham, Alabama, one of the keys to this Panther bullpen. And you notice right away his funky delivery in that slow slider. Coach Weisberg saying that is his best pitch, almost as slow as a changeup, but it is a slider, and it allowed him to succeed last year as a freshman. There it is again. Montreza waits back on it and sends it down the line. It's a fair ball. Montreza going for 2, and he's going to slide in safely. Michael Montreza leads off with a double. And the tying run on second base with nobody out.
I wasn't so sure if he's going to get this. We're going to see the hit first, just able to take it the other way. But you're going to see as he gets up to first, he's going to slow down just a little bit as he turns the corner. But then he realizes he's got the opportunity for two, turns on the guns, and goes and gets it.
And that's a play we would have never seen last year. But with that new corner jetting out from the home bullpen, it forced the left fielder to adjust there. Made it a close play still at second base, but not in time to nab Montreza, who now will look to score if Peterson can get one into the outfield like he did with a base hit earlier. He's first pitch swinging foul. Connor Adams, 20 appearances last year, just behind who we saw yesterday, Davis Williams, who had 25. But Connor Adams with a 1.88 ERA. A shutdown arm out of this Panther bullpen. And that is who they are going to in the middle of this one to keep the one-run lead. Can Peterson spoil those efforts? Montreza bouncing around off of second base, and the foul ball heads past first.
Yeah, absolutely. A shutdown arm at a shutdown time. I think that this Birmingham coaching staff sees the momentum changing towards Trinity slowly as they chip away and chip away. You want to shut it down, make sure they don't get any runs, and if you have to win this game 4-3, that's what they're going to do.
He went to the slider against Montreza with 2 strikes, goes to it on Peterson. Peterson gets enough of it to move the runner over to third. That's exactly what he was trying to do. And the tying run 90 feet away for Trinity.
Perfect situational awareness by Jack Peterson. You don't need to go for it all here. Just get it into the right side of the infield, and you can advance the runner. That's what you want to do. You want to get him on, get him over, get him in. First 2 steps complete, and now let's see if they can bring in the tying run.
It'll be Colt Harris with the task of bringing him in. The corners for the Panthers in middle infield, playing at regular depth. Fleming blocking that one. Here's 1 for 2 on the day after going hitless last night. Adams ready for the pitch. That slow slider nabs the outside corner for strike 1.
See his ability to locate that. You saw the catcher shift out there. That's exactly where he wanted it. Able to put it right on that outside edge.
Adams goes with a fastball outside this time, umpire says. Not close enough.
Yeah, similar location to that previous pitch, just trying to expand the zone a little bit, see what he can get away with, I think.
A 2-1 count in favor of Harris. Gets a hold of it, but foul. Hard contact off of his bat.
It's a big situation for Connor Adams here. It's trying to take away the sac fly by striking Colt Harris out or grounding him out. Anything to keep Montreza at third. Also need awareness from the catcher here. Pass ball can score a run.
Harris puts it into play right to third, and the tag applied to Montreza. Was he back on the bag? He did get back there in time. Montreza hyper aware there to get back in time. We'll get a look at the replay as the third baseman Lantis tried to be sneaky with it and get him out there, and it looks like the ball dropped out of his glove. That's what happened.
Yeah, I don't know if he would have gotten the tag applied anyways, as Montreza was really close to getting back in time, but loses the ball. Great awareness by Montreza to get back, sees that the ball's hit there, has that lead, rushes back immediately, and Lantis just can't keep possession.
Now it is Jack Baker, already 2 RBI on the day, looking for 3 or 4, maybe 5 if he can get a hold of one. Gets ahead of the count 1-0. That glow stick orange bat, if it gets another RBI here, he's certainly going to have to keep it all year long. Tigers down 1, trying to even it up. The 1-0 from Adams, away for a ball. 2-0 the favor for Baker.
Great take on that slider, very offerable. It started really in the middle of that zone. It's just going to swerve out really late. Baker able to recognize it and lay off.
Harris taking a healthy lead off of first. Took off for a second, now has to get back in time and does. Fleming aware of Harris taking a few steps towards second. But all the worry about the base runner and more worry for Adams should be about the 3-0 count. Baker resting his bat on his shoulder and drawing a 4-pitch walk to load the bases for the Trinity Tigers. And who better to have in this spot than Ezra Gore?
See the patience of these bats, just waiting for their opportunities and waiting and waiting. Yesterday they were swinging so early and so often, it really cost them a lot of ground balls. But here, waiting for their opportunities, a lot more base runners today, and now an opportunity to take the lead here in the 6th.
The Tigers have seen plenty of Connor Adams, who is getting a visit to the mound currently. Adams going 3 1/3, allowing just 1 hit, not giving up a run in the Super Regional against Trinity. And so he had a very successful appearance out of the bullpen back then. But with those in the lineup who have seen him in the past, it's working out in their favor. And you know that Harris has seen him. You know that Gore has seen him. What does he remember, though? That is going to be the question.
Yeah, big story how inexperienced these Trinity hitters are. But for whatever experience they lack, a lot of them have experience against a particular pitcher. It's going to be very interesting to see how they use it.
The one Tiger that doesn't lack any experience at the plate right now, Gore spits out a breaking ball outside, and that's 5 balls in a row thrown by Connor Adams. Tigers with the bases loaded here. Montreza, Harris, and Baker looking to get cashed in by Gore. He chops it up the middle. Going to be a tough play by Best. Makes the throw to first, does get the out. But the run comes across the score, and we are all tied up at 4.
Did it, Brian. They battled back. Gore just going to get a piece of it. Puts it into play. That's all he needed to do. It was going to be a tough play to throw to home and get the force there. The Panthers do the right thing, just taking the out where they can get it and eliminating a sac fly. But Ezra Gore able to get the RBI to tie this game.
And Adams not out of this jam quite yet. He has to go through Nick Lazera with runners on 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs now. Lazera blasting that home run his last time up. Looks at a breaking ball in the dirt. You mentioned it briefly, Cole, as he rounded the bases. But yes, Frank is in the building. Frank, the French Bulldog, belonging to the Lazera family, was not here last night, but he is here today. And I think it is no coincidence that Nick Lazera is 2 for 3 with a home run when his French Bulldog is in town.
Absolutely, Brian. We love it when Frank's in the building, especially if this is the type of offensive production we're getting compared to last night. All I'll say is 4 runs with Frank, none without him. So we need him here more often.
You can't argue with that equation as Lazera looks at a ball outside, jumps in front 2-1 on Adams. The sophomore who is going to just put Lazera on. What a show of respect to the sophomore here. Someone who appeared in just 14 games last year, and on the 2nd game of his sophomore season being intentionally walked in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, not the worst idea here with the way he's been carving up the baseball today, getting a hold of one. That'd be a huge boost for Trinity. But when you have a lot of depth in your lineup, you're always going to put somebody who's very capable on. Austin Davidson, no different.
Davidson will look to make the Panthers pay for that choice. But a nice start by Adams, mixing in that breaking ball for a strike. Jumps out in front of the count. Taking the sign from Fleming, nowhere to put him. Davison up to bat with 2 outs and the bases loaded. A big cut. Misses and gets behind 0-2.
Yeah, it looked like he wanted that one. Huge swing at that, but now down 0-2. Just stay alive and capitalize on your opportunity.
He'll have to battle down 0-2, waits on it, and looks at it for a ball.
It's an unbelievable take by Davidson. Every instinct, 2 strikes, you got to swing. But a low breaking ball, able to recognize it and get his first ball of the count.
Just 15 at-bats for Davison last year. No bigger than this. Looks at another ball in the dirt. Will bring the count to 2-2. All tied up at 4 here in the bottom of the 6th. Harris at 3rd, Baker at 2nd, Lazera at 1st. Adams patiently getting the sign now, ready to deal. Davison up the middle. Best stops it and gets the throw to second in time for the third out. Heads up play by the shortstop to go to the short option with the little flip there to his second baseman Dutton. And Adams gets out of the inning without further damage. But we are all tied up at 4. The Tigers have battled all the way back from down 4 in the second inning. And we head to the top of the 7th. Trinity, BSE, good as always. When Cade McGahan came into this game, Trinity was down 4-0. Now he is still in the game all those innings later, and it is all tied up at 4. He has done an excellent job holding it down, coming out of the bullpen and showing why pitching coach Dave Smith was so high on him coming into this year, as he misses with that one inside to Jack Fleming.
Yeah, what he's doing right now is pretty similar to what we saw in the Winter World Series game when we went. Really locating that breaking ball well and complete command of everything he's doing. Down 3-0 here, but he's had a great day of work today.
Does lose Fleming on a 4-pitch walk. You could see putting his hands up in frustration, thought he might have gotten the corner. But after 3 in a row off the plate, umpire not giving him the benefit of the doubt. And it brings up Jacob Zito after the leadoff walk. We've talked about it a couple of times, Cole, how impressive McGahan was in the Winter World Series as we get a stoppage here. Dave Smith making a visit to the mound and likely making a change. But for McGahan, that day he went opposite Joseph Shavana, starting for his team in that Winter World Series. And they went back and forth. He held his own against what has become the Tigers' ace. And what has been evident so far today is he has very much earned all these innings that he has gotten.
Absolutely, Brian. When Dave Smith talked about what makes you a dominant arm, he talked about trading zeros and trading zeros. And that's exactly what we saw him do with Joseph Shavana. And he's been doing a similar thing. He hasn't been trading zeros right now, but he's needed to put up zeros to keep Trinity in the game. And he's done exactly that. Now they're tied. And a lot of it's because he was able to hold down the fort.
And look at that. No change made by Dave Smith. Just a conversation after the leadoff walk. So he will trust McGahan to deal with the bottom half of the Panthers lineup, who will face a pinch hitter now. Strike delivered to Luke DiPiero. DiPiero started last night. Coming in right now for the transfer Zito. McGahan sending the runner back to the bag there.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot, checking in on any runner at first base. It hasn't seemed to impact McGahan's rhythm too much, but we can see that as a stall tactic a lot. But I think McGahan's genuinely just checking in on the runners, as you have to respect their speed, all of them.
Absolutely. DiPiero last night 0 for 3 in the starting lineup. Zito today 1 for 3 in that same slot. And you hear some barking out of the dugouts. Coach Weisberg coming out to chat with the home plate umpire.
Yeah, I can't tell exactly what happened there. But definitely checking in on something, as we'll get back to it with the count 1-1.
Continues to talk with Coach Weisberg, does the home plate umpire.
Is there like a late time called? That's the only thing I can think of right now.
Breaking ball, slapped foul by DiPiero. And what we're being told is that a strike was called on DiPiero because he was not ready to go in the batter's box, and that is one of the rule changes this year across collegiate baseball. The umpires are being much more strict about the timing, both of the pitchers and the hitters. There's no clock required yet in the stadium, but the umpires are keeping a stopwatch in their pockets. And if the batters aren't in the box and ready to go in time, they will get a called strike, and we saw it there. So a very interesting new wrinkle into the game.
Yeah, absolutely, Brian. We've seen these new rules play out. I don't think the pitch clock's too much of an issue for McGahan, as he's been working at just a brisk tempo at this point.
And what else isn't an issue for McGahan? That breaking ball has been on point all afternoon. DiPiero absolutely frozen by it. And BSC continues to be upset as the home plate umpire having to take off his mask and talk with the Panthers once more.
Yeah, I think this was a good frame job done by Lazera. You can't see the replay on your screen, but he's just going to bring that into the zone from the outside. Gets the strike call, but we've seen it go both ways today.
And Weisberg very animated right now as Dave Smith, a smile on his face, visiting McGahan one last time. A hug from Harris, a hug from Lazera, and a hug from Jack Baker as Cade McGahan, 4 2/3 without a run allowed, 2 hits, 5 strikeouts out of the bullpen. He is responsible for that runner at first, but he leaves with Harrison DeRoe coming in to replace him. A masterful performance by the senior from North Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely. If they win this game, you're going to look back at Cade McGahan's performance and his ability to hold the deficit inning after inning after inning and let the Tigers come back. Because there were opportunities for Birmingham to blow this game open, and they weren't able to do it because McGahan was able to hang in there and keep it at 4.
It'll be up to Harrison DeRoe now to carry the Tigers through the rest of this game. The junior from Dallas, Texas, became a go-to for this team in the biggest of spots. And we have been waiting on the edge of our seats, Cole, to see when would be the moment that he would come in. And the answer is top of the 7th, tied at 4 with a runner at first.
Yeah, Harrison DeRoe comes in for big leverage situations and big games. And this is exactly what this is. Opportunity to hold this deficit and give Trinity a chance to take its first lead of the game. Perfect place to put Harrison DeRoe, a weapon out of the bullpen.
A weapon is right. He appeared in 19 games a year ago. And do you want to take a stab at his record without looking at anything, Cole?
I'm going to say 5-0.
Very close. You had the O correct.
Okay, I figured I would.
8-0.
8-0, wow.
8-0 to go along with 4 saves, because DeRoe, as soon as he left the starting rotation and joined the bullpen, became absolutely dominant in late inning moments.
And that shows how many high leverage situations he's been put in. As a reliever, it can be a little harder to be the pitcher of record unless you're in there when it's a tie game or right before your team takes the lead. And that's exactly the situation he's in now, a perfect opportunity to become the pitcher of record today.
He is someone that Dave Smith said absolutely has earned a start. There's no doubt about it. But they loved his performance out of the bullpen last year so much that they wanted to, at least for this series against Birmingham-Southern, keep him there and see how it goes with the other 3 starters getting those chances. We've seen Shavana Martinez today. We'll see who is on there tomorrow, but it won't be DeRoe. It'll be DeRoe today out of the bullpen, and he'll come in to face Webster out of the pen with a runner on first in the form of Fleming. And the Birmingham-Southern Panthers coming off An at-bat in which they were very frustrated with the calls from the home plate umpire. We'll see if they can gather themselves and continue on, but a fastball blown by Webster.
Yep, high fastball, able to elevate. And it's kind of a juxtaposition, right? Caden McGahan, low curveball, low breaking ball, and then the high fastball coming right at you. It can be a tough adjustment to make.
High fastball again. This one Lazera has to go up and get. Webster laying off. The catcher, Fleming, not going anywhere at first. Harrison delivering to home. Now he is going off. Lazera guns him down at second base. Fleming thought he could take second with the pitch in the turf, but Nick Lazera says, not in my house.
I've been waiting to point this out for the last 2 games. Nick Lazera has a cannon of an arm, and I was wondering if he was going to be able to steal an out. We know Birmingham loves to try and take bases, but Lazera is the perfect catcher to try and neutralize that and maybe catch him.
Catch him, he did, and now 2 outs, nobody on, with Harrison DeRoe getting to start fresh. From the windup now, DeRoe takes his time. Webster, a weak fly ball the other way. Verver and Harris, it'll be Verver in right field, shades his eyes from the sun, and it is time to stretch in San Antonio. A 4-4 ball game between the Tigers and the Panthers. We promised you some fun baseball this weekend. That's what we've had. And I think we could keep doing this all day long. Don't you think, Cole?
Absolutely. It's 3 versus 4. What's there not to like? In any sport, you get 2 top 4 teams, and this is the kind of product you get. More of what we expected today, more runs scored, but the pitching has been a great story on both sides, really showing up in both games.
It was the biggest question mark for both teams, the pitching staff. Who would step up, and would they step up as the year continues? And for Birmingham-Southern, it's a program that has really risen to the top of Division III. They've made 8 NCAA playoff appearances. They've won their Southern Athletic Association now 5 times. But it wasn't always the story in Division III. In fact, this was a program that was at the NAIA level, and then they decided to make the jump to Division I. That's right, these Panthers were at the highest level of collegiate sports, but they decided that that move really wasn't for them. They competed in the Big South for a while, and then the school decided to go in a different direction, go down to D3. But the thing was, that was also at the same time that Jan Weisberg took over at Birmingham-Southern. And so what happened was, in 2006, when that move was made back to Division III, the entire team left because they did not want to play at Division III. And when I say the entire team, I mean the entire team, Cole. In 2007, the Panthers did not compete. Jan Weisberg had to start from scratch, recruit 28 freshmen, and now look at them more than 16 years later, one of the powerhouses at this level. Crazy how Weisberg has built it right from the bottom to where they are now.
Yeah, he literally built this program. Like, there's no way around it. He didn't start with anything. The idea that he recruited, 28 new freshmen, that's unbelievable. And to sell them on the idea that we're going to build this program with you guys, I think that's a really special thing, and that just shows the kind of coach he is.
First at-bat of the bottom of the 7th here is Brandon Nelson, who is ahead 2-0. Adams still in there on the mound. But it is absolutely right to say he built the program. Weisberg, a record of 432 and 172. That's a lot more wins than losses.
Yeah, definitely. And a consistent powerhouse. They've really risen up. As that's a base hit for Brandon Nelson. Can't quite turn 2, but they've really risen up from nothing. And Coach Weisberg said that he looked at Trinity as kind of as program to aspire to, and he's really happy that they're up there at the top of Division III baseball.
Well, it's a big reason why the Panthers and the Tigers play so consistently, even though they're not in the same conference anymore. Coach Weisberg, Coach Scannell respect each other so much, and they know what these programs do. and they just want to keep facing each other if they get the chance. After that Brandon Nelson leadoff single, we have a pinch hitter for the Tigers, Christian Holloway, responsible for one of 2 hits by the Tigers last night. Stepping in for Trey Verver. He looks at a strike called outside. Holloway, the junior from Brownsville, Texas. That is south of here, right along the U.S.-Mexico border. Waits back on a breaking ball and gets just in front of it because that one might have landed in the pool. What a hack by Holloway.
Oh, there was an opportunity there. He read it all the way. He was just 2 in front of it. Great opportunity to put that deep in the left field.
Those bricks you see there on your screen, right behind that is a swimming pool. And I would put a bet on it that that might have ended up there.
It's like Oracle Park, Brian. See if we get any kayakers in there hunting for baseballs.
Our very own McCovey Cove. Holloway goes right back to left field. This one's going to stay fair, but it's going to be in the glove of the charging left fielder. Nice job by DiPiero, newly in the game for Zito, to not be distracted by the big swing off the bat of Holloway. And that'll be the first out of the inning to bring up Montreza.
A good ranging play by DiPiero, able to come kind of in the center field and get there first. Get that first out of the inning.
Low, Fleming gets up to throw, not in time. Stolen base by Nelson. Look at the former catcher go.
That was an impressive steal by Brandon Nelson. He's been dealing with a shoulder problem, and we'll see how he came into the base. Yeah, he slides. If he had dove in, really where it hurts him is when he extends his arm up, and that can run into some issues. That's why he's DHing instead of playing first. There's a swing and a miss there from Montreza. But a great job by Brandon Nelson, taking the base and representing the leading run in scoring position.
We knew they'd be aggressive. Didn't necessarily think the catcher would be stealing, but Nelson now could score on a base hit by Montreza. Montreza fouls it slowly behind him. He has had an excellent day at the plate, 2 for 2, and he's come around to score twice, has the 5th-year shortstop.
Yeah, I've really been impressed by his ability to stay in the game after the error early and then the bobble a little bit on that throw. But he's been a real impact player for them, just like he is most nights.
He's behind in the count 1-2. Adams loves that slider, and he has to throw, and he does, as Nelson will be caught trying to take third. Nelson getting jumpy on the base pass, and a break goes in favor of the Panthers there after Nelson took second, unable to take third.
Yeah, kind of got caught in the middle there. Looked like he wanted to go back for a second, but I think he saw that he was just too far and had to go for it. That's a tough out there for Trinity.
Montreza nearly hit on the 1-2 delivery. We foreshadowed earlier in the game if there was ever a pickoff at second, we would talk about that rule change, so what a good moment to mention it. A pickoff to second has to be thrown to second in terms of if the pitcher steps off and makes an attempt to throw to second, he can't hold on to it or else he will be called for a balk. So when we first saw Adams step off, we knew he had to throw it, and he did, and then he follows it up with a strikeout of Montreza. So a promising start to the bottom of the 7th. A leadoff single turns into a 1-2-3 inning for the Panthers. We are tied up at 4, headed to the top of the 8th with number 8 on the mound for the Tigers. Don't go anywhere. What a treat of a game we've had thus far. Birmingham-Southern jumping out to a 4-run lead. Tigers fighting all the way back. And we have a tied ball game in the top of the 8th. Eli Stedman up to bat, looks at a ball down low. Harrison DeRoe, the pitcher on the mound for the Tigers after replacing Cade McGahan in the last frame.
Yeah, I think they'll look for Harrison DeRoe, as that one will get into right field. So base hit given up by Harrison DeRoe, but I think they're going to look for him to take this the rest of the game. As we've talked about the fact that he's probably earned a start, so that means they believe that he can take a starter's workload. So they think that he can take them to the rest of the game.
A pitch there that just caught too much of the plate. Stedman able to turn on it and send it into right field. Brings up the 9-hole hitter Lantis. Bunt shown. Lazera, aware of the possibility of a steal, jumps up, keeps the runner there. This is perhaps the most dangerous combo currently in the lineup for the Panthers when it comes to a hit and run possibility or a bunt. Two very speedy runners at first and at the plate. We'll see what Coach Weisberg draws up. No bunt shown here. A foul ball.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to try the bunt, but we saw them execute a perfect bunt last night in reach. Dribbled it down the third baseline, exactly what you want to do. So we know Birmingham is capable of executing that without anybody getting out.
DeRoe ready for the 1-1. The bunt being shown early. Not put down, though, by Lantis. A foul ball brings the count to 1-2. And Lantis, you can see, frustrated by that. The count 1-2 now. So would be surprised to see him bunt, but you never know if they trust him, and here he goes. And that's a strike 3 called. The breaking ball right there. Lantis not sure what he was looking for, but not getting the job done there. As can't really ask for a better pitch to bunt if you really are wanting to bunt. But for DeRoe, a strikeout to get one out in this inning.
Yeah, it's a big strikeout for DeRoe. They'll take them how they come, even if that was a weird one. Able to get an out, and I say all the time, one pitch away.
Heads up play by DeRoe to immediately check on the runner, because after Lantis failed to get the bunt down, you have to imagine Stedman might be off, already credited with 2 stolen bases today as he took second and then third on the errant throw. Not a huge lead, not going anywhere there. And a strike down the middle to Dutton, the leadoff hitter.
Yeah, the bunt, I think they're just trying to set the table for Andrew Dutton. Really great in general, but really great with runners in scoring position. Trying to give them one to potentially take the lead. And like you said, Brian, wouldn't be surprised if they try and take a base here.
Lazera catches this one low. Montreza, you can see him at the edge of your screen, now back off of it, but ready to go cover second if need be. The count 1-1 with 1 out in the 8th. Here's a breaking ball, doesn't find the inside part, and Lazera says, my bad, should have framed that one a little bit better.
You see the different abilities of Harrison DeRoe, able to elevate fastballs. I haven't seen that a lot since last inning, but also that looping curveball.
Fastball up and away. Puts Dutton ahead 3-1. Dangerous spot for the hitter who had a .396 average last year. Second team all region, and a very talented region at that in the South. Here's the 3-1, fouled past first. Davison gave it a shot. Harrison DeRoe, an honorable mention in the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference for the 2nd straight year. Rewarding that 8-0 record that we talked about. Can he hold it at 4? Ready for the 3-2 high leg kick and another curveball perfectly placed in the zone.
That was really well done. Able to place that curveball. Dutton reads it, takes it, but DeRoe throws it for a strike anyways. And able to get that second out.
It may be 60 degrees in San Antonio, but these Panther hitters are frozen right now. The curveball of DeRoe leaving them with their bat on their shoulders. They can't seem to get it off, and there we go again. DeRoe just playing games with them right now as McNearney looks at a strike.
And I think part of that is that he's elevating that fastball and he's really setting up that curveball lower. He's just changing the eye level of the hitter consistently, and it's throwing him off.
Another breaking ball. Runner takes off on it. Lazera's throw in time to get the runner, Stedman. And that's out number 3. Harrison DeRoe, 2 strikeouts, and another caught stealing courtesy of Nick Lazera. And this game is tied, headed to the bottom of the 8th.
The laser from Lazera, able to catch another one. I was really hoping that his arm would be an impact in this series, and it has been today. 2 runners caught stealing, not something you can say often when you're playing the Birmingham-Southern Panthers.
And huge credit to the second baseman, Colt Harris, there as well, getting the pick and applying the tag, keeping it on the runner. We know that that's been a huge emphasis. They had a whole practice where an entire segment of the practice was applying the tag and keeping it on there because this turf making guys bounce up and off of it, and Harris doing it to perfection there.
Absolutely, executing those details, because you never know when somebody steps off the bag or somebody bounces up like you said, and you want to get those outs when they're right in front of you, and they get it there, and it's a huge one to get out of the inning.
It keeps the game tied at 4, and it'll bring up the bottom of this Tiger order that has seen some success today. It'll start with Jack Peterson, followed by Colt Harris and Jack Baker. And we said Jack Peterson hit a home run off his roommate, Harrison DeRoe, just a week ago in the Winter World Series. Well, one roommate has done his job in the top half. You think the roommate is going to do his job in the bottom half?
Well, I don't see why not. Jack Peterson definitely has the bat to do it. But I think his job should be to get on and set the table for the other guys that are batting after him. You only need 1 run, and you don't have to get it right here.
The pitcher for Birmingham-Southern remains Connor Adams. He's thrown a couple of innings, 2 hits, 1 run allowed that tied the game up. Gets a first pitch strike on Peterson. Peterson, one of those for the Tigers that if he gets on, can turn a single into a double with his legs. Takes a ball inside for a ball, count even up at 1.
Yeah, Connor Adams loving that slider towards the inside part of the plate.
Waves at that one. Second strike. Adams showing how dangerous he can be. Coach Weisberg saying he and Davis Williams, his fellow sophomore, just don't beat themselves. That is why he can trust them in big spots like this. But Peterson goes down to get it and lofts the single into right field to start this inning.
That's exactly what he does, Brian. Able to set the table, and the Tigers have the leading run on the bases. See what Adams going to give him here. It's going to be a looping breaking ball. Peterson able to lower his swing, go down and get it. And it's not a hard hit ball, but it's a well hit ball. And he's rewarded with a base hit.
Coach Scannell coming out to talk to his players. Colt Harris there on the left side of your screen. Now Andrew Waters, the third base coach. Jack Peterson coming all the way from first. Jack Baker and Ezra Gore will join this meeting. As you can tell by this meeting, a pivotal point in this game, all tied up at 4, and the go-ahead run at first base with nobody out.
Absolutely, set it up, and so Giroux can potentially lock it down, get his first save of the season. It's a big moment in this game, and this pitching staff for Trinity has been absolutely incredible. It was a huge issue last season, and it was a huge point of questioning coming into this season. And I think last night holding the deficit to 3, even though they weren't able to come back, and today holding it to 4, able to come back and potentially take the lead in this inning. And they should be given a lot of credit with the way that they're able to lock it down.
What it also does is it gives the offense confidence. Like you said, they weren't able to put a run across yesterday, but they see their pitchers working so hard, it almost makes you want to reward them. And so far they have, as Adams sends Peterson back diving into first. Colt Harris will be at the plate. Have to imagine some form of play will be on here. Will it be a steal? There's another pickoff attempt. Will it be a steal? Will it be a bunt? Will it be a hit and run? Some former fashion. Peterson likely not on first for very long. We'll see what it is. Adams ready to deal. Makes the throw. And Harris up the middle with a base hit. Peterson will round the bag to third. Runners on the corners with nobody out.
Great piece of hitting there by Colt Harris, just going to go up the middle, and he does exactly what he needs to do. Get Jack Peterson into scoring position whatever way you need. Goes right up the middle, and it's a good way to do it. Gets himself on first, and the leading run at third.
Colt Harris back to his line drive hitting that he did all of last year. He had a line drive single to right earlier in the game. Now a line drive single to center. And after Trinity took a meeting at the plate, it is Birmingham-Southern's turn with the go-ahead run just 90 feet away.
Really impressive what Trinity's doing, able to battle back. I almost feel like they're kind of taking what they did in the 9th inning last night and kind of moving it into this one. There was a lot of quick swings yesterday, and there were a lot of ground balls because of it. Here, very patient, drawing a lot of walks, but also getting a lot of hits too. 10 hits today, and it's been a really impressive performance by the Tigers offensively.
Umpire granting the Panthers a lot of time to chat, now breaking up the meeting on the mound. Panthers sticking with Connor Adams. Had that excellent 1.88 ERA a year ago. Held the Tigers scoreless in the Super Regional, but already given up 1 run today to tie things up. And Jack Baker, who has delivered all game long, looking to deliver once more. Harris at first, Peterson at third. Slow slider in there for a strike.
Yeah, great pitch by Connor Adams. You know that's what he wants to do. He loves that slider, but able to locate it more towards the middle of the zone this time.
Once again, waits on it, and this one dropped out of the zone. So the count at 1-1. Jack Baker missing most of last year with a calf injury. In fact, he joined us for a broadcast since he was out. Now, much more comfortable where he belongs at the plate, but swings past this one outside to fall behind 1-2.
Yeah, working that slider again. Jack Baker, a righty, that slider going to work a lot better against him than it did Jack Peterson, but Jack Baker, really good hands, really good at staying alive in at-bats. We'll see if he can do it here.
Tries to wait back on that slider, but it gets him swinging. A tough pitch, and Adams comes through with a clutch K here in the 8th.
Absolutely, Brian. Clutch is correct. Got himself into a bit of a jam, able to get the first out. That's his first step towards getting out of it. Just trying to keep this game tied and not put this team into a do-or-die situation offensively.
Now a double play would get the Panthers out of the inning. But before that, another visit. Nope, just a check-in from Fleming with Adams, no visit. It'll bring up Ezra Gore to the plate. Last time he was up, he had a very similar situation, had the bases loaded, chopped it to short, and was able to beat it out to tie the game. Now can he put the Tigers on top? He sends it to right field. That's going to be trouble for the Panthers. They make the catch, but the go-ahead run is going to come across to score. Jack Peterson, the 5th run of the ball game for the Tigers, and they are on top in the 8th.
This is excellent situational awareness by Ezra Gore. He puts it exactly where you'd want it. You want it in deep center or deep right field, ideally, to make it a long throw for them to get it so that they can't get Jack Peterson. Just allow that leading run to come in and score. Ezra Gore does exactly that. Jack Peterson has no trouble getting home and giving the Tigers their first lead of the season.
Stedman had no shot at getting Peterson out at home, crossing easily. And Lazera lays off of that slow slider that the Tigers seemingly getting comfortable with. Baker was patient on it, just couldn't get contact on it. But he's thrown it so often that they seemingly are expecting it now. Will it come again? It does. This one in the turf. Fleming able to get in front of it and keep the runner at first.
It's a good job by Lazera communicating to his guy at first. Tells him to stay.
And we'll get a great look at his home run earlier in the game over that new Nike Just Do It sign. He certainly just did it. Has a 2-0 count in his favor, and that's a dangerous pitch to Lazera. Ends up as a strike, but with his power bat, don't want a cement mixer like that one.
I think it's important for Lazera. Don't get complacent here. Yes, you have the lead, but this is still one of the best offenses in the league you're going against. The more runs, the better.
And he gets a hold of another one to right. It's going to drop in front of Stedman, nearly bounces over his head, able to collect it and send it back into the infield. But Nick Lazera, have yourself a day, sir. 3 for 4 with a homer and continues the 8th inning rally for Trinity.
Despite all the key players that have been important in this rally for Trinity, Nick Lazera has by far been the player of the game and able to put the Tigers in a position to extend this lead. Much needed insurance runs when you're going against a top quality offense like Birmingham-Southern.
A switch hitting power catcher. Sounds a little bit like Adley Rutschman, if you ask me. Tigers certainly happy to have Lazera. Davison swinging at the first pitch just like Gore did. And it goes into the bullpen out of play.
See if Davidson can get a hit here and drive in another run for Trinity. 2 outs, so it's a more difficult situation for him. Actually going to need to get a hit here, but he's definitely capable.
Slider gets him swinging. That frisbee of a pitch working out that time against Davison. Harris still at third. Lazera over there at first. Connor Adams on the mound, very similar to Harrison DeRoe, an honorable mention in his conference. Trying to get out of this inning, allowing just one, and he will. Brings Davison to one knee on the swinging strike, but not before the Tigers take a lead here in the bottom of the 8th. It was a sacrifice fly off the bat of Ezra Gore, and after trailing by 4, these Tigers are up 1. You won't want to miss the top of the 9th after a quick break on Tiger Network. It is time for the top of the 9th inning in San Antonio. Trinity 5, Birmingham-Southern 4. And earlier, Cole, I asked you, how many wins did Harrison have last year? Do you remember now?
He had 8.
He had 8. He's looking to get 1 on the board here. 1 for himself, 1 for his Tigers. But it won't come easily. The teeth of the Panthers lineup, McNearney, Hancock, and Best up to bat. Starts things off with a ball in the turf. DeRoe came in to replace McGahan, who replaced Martinez. And that curveball has been dizzying for these Panther hitters. Falling from the sky into the zone.
Yeah, it's another element when you're able to locate that curveball into the zone, because they can't just take it and then you can floor it on them. And that's a great strikeout pitch that Harrison DeRoe has.
We have a defensive replacement for the Tigers. Ty Preston coming in to play left field. Gore moving over to right field ahead of this 2-1 delivery. Another curveball, foul. McNearney, one of the better swings we've seen on the Duro curveball, but it still takes the count to 2-2. We've got Preston in left, Peterson in center, Gore in right. Baker at third, Montrez at short, Harris at second, and Davison at first. The defense that will try to close this out behind Duro. Not having to work very hard so far with 2 Ks from Duro in just an inning and 2/3. But this is one of the better defensive alignments the Tigers can come up with.
Yep, it's time to lock it down, Brian. Get your best defenders out there, and a guy who had 4 saves last year in Harrison Duro.
That's another K looking. McNearney can't believe it, but believe it. 3rd strikeout for Duro, and he is 2 outs away from putting Trinity in the win column.
Yep, sees curveball, gonna take it, right? It's gonna go down. No, it's gonna be in the zone. And even if it was outside, a good frame job by Lazera. Make sure that gets called a strike.
Goes with the curveball again. This one misses low to Ian Hancock, who certainly has the capability to tie things up with one swing of the bat. Gets a fastball inside. Home plate umpire says it missed. So Hancock jumps ahead 2-0, a dangerous spot to the guy who was 10th in Division III in home runs, 16 of them. We'll be looking for a fastball, so Duro drops in a curveball for a strike. Gets back in at 2-1.
So hard for these hitters to read and react to what's happening with Harrison Duro. Curveball there, but he can also elevate that fastball.
It is a thing of beauty, folks. The curveball working to perfection for Duro, and you can see he is wasting no time getting ready to throw it. Looking to go inside on Hancock, gets him swinging. Strikeout number 4 from Harrison Duro, and he is pumped up with 1 out left.
Exactly, Brian. 1 out left. He goes to mostly curveballs in this at-bat, gets him over it. And that's exactly what we're saying. He has the ability to throw it in the zone, but he can floor it when he needs to, and he does it to get the 2nd out there.
Breaking ball for a strike to start the at-bat. With Noah Best 0 for 2 today, the cleanup hitter has popped in that bat as well. 14 home runs last year, takes the ball outside. Harrison Duro so trustworthy that he saw action in both games of last year's Super Regional, and trying to get similar results here. The 1-1 misses outside. Harrison got the W in Game 1 of that Super Regional. Will he get it here today? A ground ball foul past third, and he is 1 strike away. The Birmingham-Southern Panthers jumped in front 4-0. Looked like they would take another one from the Tigers, but they have fought back. And a breaking ball misses above the head of Best to keep it going. 3-2 on the way from Duro. Curveball put into play, and it'll drop in the gap. Peterson trying to cut it off. He does, but Best speeding into second, sliding in safely, and the Panthers are alive and well.
Good piece of hitting here by Noah Best. Able to guess correctly that that curveball is winding up in the zone. Able to get right on that, put it in the center field, and gives the Tigers some hope as they were down to their last strike.
One interesting aspect of that defensive move, Preston coming in because Verver was pinch hit for earlier. Verver, one of the best arms you'll ever see, no longer in the game. And so now a base hit into the outfield will likely score a run. We'll have to see what plays out. Jack Fleming at the plate takes the ball inside.
Now the Panthers got their guy on, just trying to bring him in to tie this game, but we know that they love to hit it over the fence, and wouldn't they love to do that right now? So it's important that Giroux doesn't hang one here.
He's behind 1-0 on the catcher, taking a look back at Best and trying to pump in a fastball, misses at the letters though. and he's behind the catcher 2-0.
Haven't seen the fastball out of Giroux in a while. Wondering if he'll pump one out here.
He tried it on that last one, didn't get Fleming to chase. He's been patient so far today, 0 for 2, but 2 walks for Fleming. Off-speed delivery in the dirt. Lazera blocks it, and it's 3-0 in favor of Jack Fleming, the fifth-year senior from Suwanee, Georgia. Second-team All-Region, according to the American Baseball Coaches Association. He's done a lot of damage as a Panther over the years and looking to tie it up for his squad in the 9th. The 3-0 pitch misses inside, and he draws his third walk of the afternoon. And it'll be the pinch hitter from earlier still in the game, Luke DiPiero, another fifth-year senior who will try to get the job done for BSE.
I think that was the right pitch to make in that situation. You don't want to give him anything easy. I know it's 3-0, but you have the open base, and you don't want to just give up the lead in one swing.
A visit to the mound by pitching coach Dave Smith in his 21st season as pitching coach for the Trinity Tigers. He himself had a 24-7 record as a pitcher for the Maroon and White, so he knows a little bit about what to tell his players on the mound. And he brings in Lazera as well. Infielders stay at their spots, except for Baker now here giving a word of encouragement to Giroux. But what do you think, out of anything, could be said in a moment like this?
Just stay calm, I think. You know, you had them in 2 outs, and then you let 2 on, and that can be a little bit rattling. They're starting to get to you a little bit, starting to figure out your stuff, but I think it's just trusting that he's been really good in these big situations, had 4 saves, 8-0 record. And Harrison Giroux is definitely the guy you want in this situation if you're Trinity.
Noah Best on second base, Jack Fleming at first, Luke DiPiero stepping to the plate. 2 outs in the top of the 9th, Trinity up 1. First pitch from Giroux hits DiPiero, and the bases will be loaded. Drama, drama, drama from the Alamo City.
Yeah, you knew it couldn't end easy with these guys. They're going to find a way to get on base. Only 4 runs in 1 inning for Birmingham-Southern. Just trying to hold them off, and the bullpen's done such a great job, but they're just going to have to get out of one last jam to hold this lead. Only 1 out away from doing it, though.
And the man who will try to do it, a pinch hitter, Wesley Diamantis. We saw him at first base last night. And he comes in with the bases loaded, 2 outs, down 1. The first pitch from Giroux to Diamantis, a fastball blown by him, strike 1.
Started out with a lot of curveballs, Brian. Started relying on it, changing what he's doing. Fastball low that time, and just blows it by him.
Wind up from Giroux. Breaking ball in the dirt, gets away from Lazera. The tying run is across to score. The throw gets away from Giroux, and the Panthers will take the lead as Fleming dives across safely. And this game has just turned on a dime. A 2-run wild pitch to put BSC in front after they were an out away from falling to the Tigers.
Yeah, this one's just going to get away from Lazera. Tries to make the desperation throw because the tying run's going to score, but you don't want the winning run to score. That throw just gets away, trying to hold this lead by some miraculous throw, but I think ideally you would have liked to keep it there, but that's tough to say in a moment like that, just reacting and trying to make the best play you can. But Trinity ends up losing the lead there.
As we showed the replay, Giroux got a second strike on Diamantis. Now a ball in the dirt. Evens up the count at 2. A tough break for Giroux and the Tigers. Trying to rebound and keep the deficit at 1. A foul ball the other way.
That's exactly it, Brian. It's the same thing we've been saying all game. Now it's just a 1-run deficit. You have to keep it there and give your offense an opportunity to get it back.
Giroux fires it past Diamantis, strikes out the side. But in between those 3 strikeouts, 2 runs come around to score for Birmingham-Southern. A wild pitch and an error for Trinity leaves them with 3 outs to work with in the bottom of the 9th. It'll have to be a magical day on what's already a historic day on campus. We'll take a quick break and be right back on Tiger Network. Brandon Nelson will lead off the bottom of the ninth. A bottom of the ninth we weren't sure we would have. After 2 strikeouts to start the top half of the inning, Giroux gave up a double to Noah Best. The Panthers kept on battling, and now they find themselves up just 3 outs away from a series victory in San Antonio. Brandon Nelson will look to have other plans, though. Waits back on the slider, sends it to second base. Dutton, easy throw to first. And the first out of the inning will go to Adams, who now can turn his outing, in which he has given up a couple of runs and saw the Tigers take the lead, into a victory.
Yeah, absolutely. Trinity able to get some runs on Connor Adams. And I think that Brandon Nelson had the right idea there. You got to wait on that slider. That's been his pitch. And if they're going to come back in this game, they're going to take advantage of that.
Ty Preston will get his first at-bat of the afternoon. He'll send it to the left side. Best, a diving stop, a throw not in time. Almost a phenomenal play by Noah Best, who has stolen the show here in the ninth. But Preston fast enough to get on first and get a little action going for the Tigers.
That's what they say in practice, good 90. You want a good 90, and a good 90 is what's going to keep Ty Preston on first base. Noah Best, an incredibly athletic play defensively, but Preston runs it out and barely beats it.
Preston off of first. Montreza at the plate, swings over the top, and by that swing, maybe expecting a hit and run. As he took a look at the runner, Preston. Preston coming in as a defensive replacement for Trey Verver, who was pinch hit for. And so what Preston brings is a lot of speed on the base pass, and Adams has that thought in his head, checks in on him. So while Verver has the arm that you might want in the outfield late in the game, Preston can get something going as a runner. Already beat out that infield hit. Now we'll try to get a good jump off of anything that Montreza puts into play. Looks at a ball for an even count now.
Yeah, kind of a sinking pitch that he's done on back-to-back throws here. Montreza, wise to it though, able to take it that second time.
Slider hangs in the air. It's going to bring the left fielder in, but he can't see it, and it drops in front of him. The Sun playing games on DiPiero, and a big swing that perhaps made him think it was going a lot farther than it did.
Yeah, big swing. But it's just the way he has to move his body to get that ball. And yeah, I think you're right, Brian. It looked like he lost it and just didn't know where it was. Montreza able to get on. He represents the winning run here for Trinity. And you just got to find a way, right? Down to 3 outs, find a way to get on, find a way to bring some runs in.
Peterson has had an excellent day at the plate, 2 for 4. Takes a first pitch slider for a ball.
I think Jack Peterson being a lefty, very advantageous in this situation. Connor Adams has a slider that tends to break into lefties. Not going to be able to use that as effectively here.
Peterson sends it into the outfield. That's going to get down. McNearney charging. He's going to make the throw and keep Preston at third. Excellent job by him, but the Tigers have loaded the bases with just one out in the ninth.
Great job of hitting. Go out and get it, and able to put it into shallow center field. Loads up the bases and great awareness. Staying at third, not forcing anything. You're down to one. You're down to your last 2 outs. No need to waste it charging for home.
Noah Best, the senior shortstop, taking some time to chat with his sophomore pitcher, and now joined by the catcher as well as the third baseman, Truitt, who is in there defensively. You see there number 4, Ty Truitt, the sophomore from Hoover, Alabama. And this is quite the pickle for the Panthers. Colt Harris at the plate in that 9-hole, but as we talked about, no typical 9-hole hitter. He drives in runs with plenty of ease, already 2 for 4, and he's got ducks on the pond. Preston, Montreza, Peterson on third, second, and first. One away, Adams, the slider, past Harris.
Yeah, goes hacking at that one. But again, situational awareness from Colt Harris. Ezra Gore showed it to take the lead in the 8th inning. Just need a sac fly and extend this game if you can.
Harris, a little nubber to the right side. Diamantis can't grab it, and the game is tied. He wanted to go home with it, couldn't get it in his hand, and that'll tie it all up at 6 as the defense letting both teams down in this 9th inning.
Exactly what he needed to do, just find a way to get that guy on third home. Diamantis wanting to make the aggressive play, wanting to keep the lead, able to ultimately recover and get Colt Harris at first, but I think something to be aware of is that there could have been a double play possibility there if he had just looked to second first.
And now Jack Baker can win it all. Runners on second and third, 2 outs in a tied game. Baker looks at a fastball for a strike. 1 for 3, drove in 2 earlier. And worth noting, Diamantis typically replaced late in games by Millsap to play first, but Diamantis came in to pinch hit and costing them there. Can Baker make him pay? Looks at a slider right down the middle. Puts him behind 0-2.
Yeah, Jack Baker struck out in his last at-bat. Connor Adams using that slider on him. And I would expect a similar idea from the pitcher today.
Fleming wanted it outside. He got it outside. Baker not chasing. Will stay in the box. Looking to bring home Michael Montreza from third. Connor Adams, the sophomore, facing Jack Baker, the junior. Patient, not chasing again on that frisbee outside, and the count drawn up at 2. Baker appearing in just 8 games in 2022, dealt with that calf injury. Now looking to be an early hero in 2023. The 2-2, Baker lines it foul.
Oh, he got a hold of that one, just got out in front of it. It's the slider that Connor Adams has had a lot of success with against him in their prior meeting. As it just gets in front of that one and fouls it off. But Jack Baker does a great job of staying alive, knock on wood.
The 2-2 again. Baker looks at a called third strike. And Adams again gets out of it unscathed further, but he does give up the tying run in the bottom half of the 9th. Diamantis tried to go home with it, couldn't get it in his hand cleanly. And Birmingham-Southern and Trinity doing it again, folks, giving us all the drama we could ever hope for. Extra baseball on the way in San Antonio. Harrison DeRose still on the mound, and we will be right back with you after a short break. Welcome back to Tiger Network, where we head to the 10th. Eli Stedman leading off the first extra inning ball game of the year in just the second game of the year as Duro misses with a fastball outside. What a topsy-turvy game it has been. Panthers out in front by 4 in the second inning. Looked like they might run away with their second win of the year. The Tigers said not so fast, slowly chipped away, tied it up at 4, then took the lead and were an out away from winning it before the Panthers wanted to play just a little bit longer. And now Stedman drawing a 3-0 count with Duro already in there for 2 2/3 innings, has 5 Ks. But doesn't want to walk the leadoff hitter here and pumps a strike right there to put the count at 3-1.
Yeah, don't want to lose that leadoff hitter. We know Birmingham-Southern's potency on the base pads, but at the same time, you don't want to give them the cookie and let them change the game in one swing.
No cookie. Instead, ball 4 for Stedman. That's the third base on balls drawn by the younger Stedman brother, making his older brother Cole proud today by what he has done for his team.
Yeah, this bottom of the order really working for Birmingham-Southern as they want to set the table for the top of the order to drive them in.
Can Ty Truitt lay down a bunt? He puts it to Duro. Duro makes the safe throw to first, and Kai Tinker, newly in the game over there, saves it from going past him and gets the first out. But Ty Truitt does his job off the bench. He played defense last inning and now gets the bunt down that Lantis, who he pinch hit for, couldn't do earlier.
Nervous moment there, a high throw by Duro. Kai Tinker able to keep his foot on the bag, a great play to get that first out.
Andrew Dutton, the leadoff hitter, looking to bring home Stedman, looks at a breaking ball inside. Harrison Duro will step off here and requesting a new ball from his catcher, Lazera. Duro was mowing down this Panther lineup, especially with that curveball, freezing these hitters. But then he loaded the bases, and with the bases loaded, threw a wild pitch that then turned into 2 runs off an errant throw from the catcher. Misses inside once more to put Dutton up 2-0. There's a strike for Duro.
See if Andrew Dutton can bring in the guy on second. That was the whole point. Just get on the bunt to get him over, and then Dutton, the top of your lineup. That's why he's there, to bring these guys in, and no more crucial time for Birmingham-Southern than right now.
Dutton sends it the other way, well into the net there above the hitting cage.
We'll see if we see the curveball from Duro. He's going to drop it on him. I imagine Dutton's watching out for that as well, though.
Absolutely, and especially now that these Panthers are getting to see Duro for a second time. Dutton struck out twice already today. Won't chase there. Duro not fazed at all by this longer appearance. He is used to going deep into games. And the Tigers really needing him to keep it at 6-6. The pitch on the way to Dutton. Another one past Lazera will send the runner on the third. Dutton will stroll on to first off the walk. Runners on the corners for BSC with just 1 away.
That's a pretty big play there for Birmingham, able to get another runner on, but also advance the other one in sack fly territory with only 1 out, just trying to take the lead and then lock it down in the next half inning.
We've highlighted a lot of that super regional in Birmingham, but let's take a trip back to Birmingham earlier in the year last year. Harrison Duro got the start, and he threw 5 innings, got a season-high 10 strikeouts in that February matchup. We've seen that type of dominance from him before. We've seen it today, but can he get out of this jam? McNearney shows bunt, pulls it back off the ball. Panthers looking to get their runners going. Stedman at third, Dutton at first, and McNearney very fast himself at the plate. Bunt shown again. It's a breaking ball. Duro, Tinker charging, and he can't grab it. Was gonna try to flip it to Lazera barehanded, but a tough play became impossible once his fingers slipped through the ball. We'll take a look at this replay. A perfectly executed bunt down the first base line, and Stedman safely across.
Yeah, really well executed bunt, but the second time we've seen Trinity try and do too much in that situation, trying to stop the run from scoring. I think in that situation, I know you're giving up the lead in extra innings, but it's probably just better to take the out.
If you're Birmingham-Southern, though, you have to love the likes of Cam McNearney, a senior who hit .333 a year ago, is so capable with the bat, sacrificing himself and pushing down a bunt, and it even resulted in a base hit, way more than he could have ever asked for, as head coach Tim Scannell takes a visit to Harrison Duro on the mound now.
Yeah, I think they're talking about just overcomplicating things. On a bunt like that, yes, you want to stop the run from scoring, obviously, but that's going to be a really tough play. And what's more valuable right there is getting that second out and getting you one step closer to getting out of this inning.
A lengthy visit by head coach Tim Scannell in his 25th season leading the Trinity Tigers. Love what he told his team in the very first practice of the year. A season to him is a journey. The beginning of the journey is this weekend, and he loves to see his guys grow, attempt to meet their goals, and accomplish things that they didn't even think they could accomplish. It's what keeps him coming back to San Antonio year in and year out. In fact, he has a son here playing football now on the Trinity football team. But right now, very much a head coach trying to help his pitcher, and a breaking ball blocked by Lazera gets Hancock over the top of it.
Yep, Giroux just trying to find a way to get back in rhythm, getting back to that curveball, able to get the swing and miss, get ahead 0-1. Just trying to find a way to get that next out and just hold this deficit to where it is and let the offense go to work.
Time called here. We'll give Hancock and Harrison Duro a little second to breathe longer. The shadows beginning to creep onto the field here in San Antonio. 5:25 for a game that started at 2 p.m. Hancock again over that breaking ball. Can't get a hold of it.
Yeah, not leaving it up in the zone. Able to drop it. We've seen a dangerous pitch. We've seen one of those get by Lazera today, but Giroux still throwing it with confidence. And that's the pitch he likes, and that's the one he's going to stick with. He's had a lot of success with it today.
0-2 again. Hancock cannot handle the curveball. He'll be sent packing to the dugout with his second strikeout of the day, 6th for Harrison Duro, and he is one out closer to bringing his team up to bat.
Yep, 3 straight times, 3 straight curveballs below the zone. Gets the swing and miss on every single one of them. But a tough challenge here as Noah Best can try to extend this Panther lead.
Noah Best, the culprit for why we're still here. With 2 outs in the 9th, nobody on. He doubled to keep his team alive, and now look at us in the 10th inning, his team on top. Spits at a fastball low and away to get ahead. As Coach Weisberg describes him, a really athletic, above-average runner for someone his size. And he used his speed to extend a single into a double and then came around to score as he looks at a breaking ball there for a strike. Coach Weisberg believes he was on some draft boards last year and believes he will be again this year, but expecting to transfer to a D1 school next year, Mercer. And you can certainly see why. Plenty of talent in the bat of this shortstop and in the glove of this shortstop, who has made some excellent plays fielding his position. He's behind 1-2. Runners on first and second. BSC trying to build on this one-run lead. Duro glances back at second, now delivers and strikes out best for the third out of the inning. 7 Ks for Harrison Duro, but a run does come around to score for Birmingham-Southern. Can the Tigers keep working their late inning magic and tie it up once more? We'll find out after this break. Well, he had 7 saves a season ago. He already has one trying to make it 2. That is, of course, Davis Williams, the sophomore from Cartersville, Georgia, out on the mound once again, trying to lock it down for the black and gold. He'll face the 2, 3, 4 hitters for the Tigers, but he did the same thing last night and got the save to wrap up a 3-0 victory. The Tigers, though, hoping that they become familiar enough with him off of last night that they can get to him here. And it'll all start with Ezra Gore as we get ready to start the bottom half of the 10th.
I think an important thing to remember about last night when he was in there is that Trinity was very patient, and that's when they started to not swing early, not swing that often, and they were able to get some base runners there. Couldn't ultimately cash in on them, but they had their best opportunities of the night against Davis Williams.
They did start to have some of those better at-bats, as you mentioned, Cole. Gore takes the first pitch low below the knees. Gore himself was retired pretty quickly, but then it was Ty Preston who doubled to bring some interest into the game, as Gore not able to connect on that one. Preston doubled, Montreza walked, and it brought a lot of intrigue, the tying run to the plate, but Williams struck out Lazera. Off with that one outside. Very different than his teammate Connor Adams, but in the same way, they are both very funky. Unique delivery that makes it hard for hitters to see the ball. Right now, though, off of the edge, and he is 3-1 behind Ezra Gore.
I think we're seeing that experience from last night kick into tonight. They've seen him before. They know what he likes to do. And Ezra Gore just taking it, not being tempted by those sliders outside.
Not tempted by that one either. A 5-pitch walk to Ezra Gore to start things off in the bottom half of the 10th. And the Tigers have the tying run to lead off the inning.
That tying run on the plate, but Nick Lazera up to bat. We know that he was very frustrated with how that game ended. Chance to truly redeem himself here.
Not only angry with that at bat last night, but you have to imagine he feels bad for that throw behind the plate that led to the go-ahead run for Birmingham-Southern. There's a quick check here from Williams over there on Gore. So Lazera could avenge not only last night, but that error tonight as well.
Absolutely, and he doesn't really deserve to feel bad leaving the ballpark today. He's such a good game, hit the home run. So a chance to at least advance the runner here, not win it, anywhere in between. I know he would relish that, and we'd all be very happy for him.
You can see the concern about Ezra Gore. 19 stolen bases sitting over there at first base, caught just 4 times, not going anywhere yet. A ball below the knees again. The Birmingham-Southern fans behind the plate wanted it. They don't get it as Lazera jumps in front, and Williams will take a stroll behind the mound. A word to himself, and now he is ready to go. Fleming flashing the signs. A long day for him and Lazera, both behind the dish. Lazera, nice swing, cuts it the other way.
Nick Lazera, definitely one of the guys that you want in this situation. Very good hitter, can hit all over the diamond. And trying to advance Ezra Gore here.
That one misses way outside. Lazera not tempted by it. Gore still not going anywhere, but he is more than capable. In fact, he said he heard me say how yesterday on the broadcast Will Lantis wanted 40 steals this year, and he says, I want 42. Would be a big time for number 1. But always a risk. Nobody out, runner on first, bottom of the 10th. Lazera, big swing and a miss. Strike 2.
Yeah, he wanted that one. Took a hack at it, not able to connect, but you know Lazera, he hits the ball really hard when he gets hold of it, especially on this turf that's going to come at the infielders a lot faster than it normally would.
Gore back into the bag safely for about the 3rd or 4th time in this at-bat. If nothing else, getting some cardio before getting ready to run. You can fully see the shadows on the Trinity baseball field. A truly perfect day for baseball, and we've gotten to go longer than 9 innings. Lazera waits on that one and takes the count full. Now Gore may truly be off and running.
Lazera able to take that one with 2 strikes. I think that was a big regret from last night's game as he took that pitch with 2 strikes, but takes that one there and it works out for him. It was obviously outside.
If he gets a similar pitch, expect him to turn on it. Williams still testing Gore over there.
Gore getting similar treatment to the treatment that the Birmingham-Southern runners got from Cade McGahan earlier in this game. Saw about 6 pickoffs of bat per at bat, it felt like, from him. I think the tally's up to about 6 here, right?
We really do need to get a tally up. Similar to that Jack Martinez hat counter that we didn't even get to talk about much when Martinez was in the game. But these pickoffs dominating the story. Will Lazera see a pitch? He will. Fights it off to stay alive.
Yeah, sometimes that's what you need to do. Just hang in there, wait for your opportunity, and keep fighting them off and keep taking the right pitches until something comes.
The 3-2 once more. Williams to Lazera. Lazera underneath it. Left side of the infield foul territory. Truitt over there underneath for a catch. And the first out of the inning.
A good battle between Williams and Lazera. Ends in a similar way that it did last time. This time Lazera swings at it. It was that same slider that got Lazera inside. Takes the hack at it. Just too far inside, ends up fouling it off.
Now we get a pinch hitter. Both coaches going deep into their roster. Already in the 10th inning, making all sorts of defensive substitutions, pinch runners, pinch hitters, and the latest of those, Corson Hastings. Stepping in from the left side of the box. We'll have to wait on another pickoff. Corson Hastings starting last night at first base. Didn't record a hit, but played good defense and expects to see a lot of playing time over there at first. He is pinch hitting for Kai Tinker, who had come in defensively, and Hastings gets a hold of one to left center, but Gore will have to come back quickly because the center fielder made the catch and gets it back for the double play. Cam McNearney charging hard from center on that one that looked like it might drop. Gore thought the same thing, Instead, the Birmingham-Southern Panthers have won the series in dramatic fashion.
Yeah, tough loss here. And great awareness by the center fielder. Able to come down, and he knew exactly where he was throwing it the second he caught that, as Gore was all the way out there towards second base. But a tough loss for Trinity. Had the opportunity to put this game away. Ends up losing this lead after coming all the way back from 4-0. But I was very impressed by the resilience they showed to get back into this game after being down 4-0. And also by the pitching, able to hold it over and over and over again. So a lot of positive signs coming out of this game, even though it's a tough loss.
Just look at that scoring line. 14 hits for Trinity to Birmingham-Southern 6. But the one that matters the most, the run column. 7 for Birmingham-Southern, 6 for Trinity. And Cam McNearney, the center fielder, ending the game on a double play right after he got the go-ahead run across on a magnificent bunt. So he is the MVP for Birmingham-Southern without a doubt. An amazing, amazing performance for the senior from Kennesaw, Georgia. And the Birmingham-Southern Panthers, ranked 4th in the country, have shown that they are here to play this year. What another great game on Tiger Network. So lucky to bring it to you. Hope you enjoyed every second of it like we did. We were a little bit more back to normal with all our angles, all our score graphics working and everything. And so deeply appreciate you being here with us and choosing to spend your Saturday afternoon with all of us. We hope you'll spend your Sunday as well. I know it's Super Bowl Sunday, but before anything, 11:30, first pitch between Birmingham-Southern and Trinity. The Panthers looking to sweep, Tigers looking to salvage one. We'll be here for it, just like you will. For Cole Isaacson, I'm Brian Jenselson. Have a superb Saturday night.